He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole wide world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. Sing with me, children, little bitty babies. He's got the little bitty babies in his hand. He's got the little bitty babies in his hand. He's got the little bitty babies in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. How about the whole...
Top of wrestling fans, we're here. Let us in. I can't say it's going to be the most upbeat show from, front to back, but or front, beginning to end, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be quite the show for us here at the Top of Wrestling Podcast, and I say to you, good wrestling day. Yes, we are going to be talking about the passing of, we have three big deaths within 3 days. You had Terry Funk, you had Bray Wyatt, and I mean this within absolutely no joke, you had Bob Barker, multiple-time guy who had done things with WWE, one of them being the guest host of Raw. So we'll obviously be getting into that because, as you heard in the intro, he's got the whole world in his hands, and that is going to be our top topic. That's right, back-to-back weeks with top topics because we had to change shit up. As we always say, the card is subject to change as our show can be. Which is funny because I really can't wait to talk about next week's top topic because it's so fitting for our recent history. We are on the fallout, we're on the fallout of AEW's All In at Wembley Stadium. A lot of news, of course, why we have a pay-per-view and have to have an altercation backstage. Beyond me, we'll get there. We have so much to talk about, but hey, ladies and gentlemen, he's here, he's ready. He didn't watch All In because he said, I ain't paying for that shit. O.D.M.
Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Run, 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 run away. Oh,
So,
how's that
if
for
you're
lighting in the
thinking
mood?
that it's kind of I was like, wow. After we talk about Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk and Bob Barker, you're like, Psycho Killer. No. And we even talked a little bit about this, man. This is, come on. You already know what he's been blasting through. It's kind of like when I was blasting through the IT crowd, and I kept bringing lines into the show, and here you are with It's Always Sunny, and it's a 16-season show, but them all going absolutely nuts because Psycho Pete is back in town, and they're all listening to Psycho Killer in the bar, and I just love the yeah.
I pop for it.
Oh, such a... Have you had the chance to see the Talking Heads tribute band?
Stop making sense. No, I have not.
It actually might not be that one. There's another one.
Okay.
Maybe or maybe not. Hang on, I could be wrong. But no, it wasn't them. There was definitely another one, but I saw them in 2019 at Anthology in Rochester.
Right.
And, oh my God, they opened with Psycho Killer.
Nice.
And then they ended up doing My Jam, which is Road to Nowhere.
Oh,
I mean,
great song.
just such an underrated band.
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't get talked about enough, the Talking Heads. You know who does get talked about enough? Oh, Philly. Phil Brooks. You motherfucker. You are breaking my heart. Look it. We even had, this is how much our card is subject to change. We had movies we're going to talk about today, and we said, no, we got to talk about Bray. We got to talk about Terry Funk. We should hit him hard. Let's do it right in the beginning. Let's give our tribute. Nope. Phil, you went and fucked that shit up too. Now we have to switch our show around because I can't not talk about it because right before we hit record, we find out someone is suspended. Before we get there, let's get to our news. What do you got?
Well, I woke up this morning and I saw, I saw that there's title belts for sale that you can get, and it's for your favorite NFL team. Look pretty cool.
Are they for $3.95 like the T-shirts that never came?
No. This was legitimate. I think it was for the NFL Fanatic site is where I saw it. They're $550, which is ridiculous, but you add the cost of an NFL franchise being on there, that sounds about in the neighborhood of what you'd expect to pay. They look great. Later on, I found out that it is in conjunction with WWE, and you can buy them on WWE's online store. So I was like, cool. I went and checked it out. Any idea how many NFL teams there are?
God, 32?
Very good. If you go on WWE's online store, guess how many titles you'll see?
32.
31. You may or may not remember...
motherfucker, please don't tell me...
...that the Jacksonville Jaguars are owned by Shad Khan. I checked
you were about to piss me off
myself.
Say there was no Buffalo Bills.
I
was like, listen, motherfucker, they're a team. Whether they...
No, I checked. There is no Jags belt on the WWE shop. Talk about being petty. We ain't selling his shit.
It was just funny because I cringe anytime I see anything Tony Khan. And last week, in conjunction with Stadium Stampede happening, I think it was on like Wednesday of last week, they announced that on Fight Forever, you can now play Stadium Stampede. Right. And he's the beginning intro part, standing in the Daly's place, and right in front of the Jaguars. And he's like, "It's here, home in the Jacksonville Jaguars, and where the original Stadium Stampede is." And it was funny because he had Kenny Omega come in, the head of AEW Games, which is just so fucking weird, as well as being an EVP. The guy wears a lot of hats for a wrestler, but we'll get to that another day, like next week. But the funniest part is he also had Kenny Omega come in and do a part of this. He goes, "Buy the game. Don't buy the game. I don't give a shit."
Kingston? That's great.
He's so good. And they buy it. I don't care. All I care about is getting my hands on you, Claudio.
Yep, exactly. He just worked a promo in there.
It was so good. But then buy it. I don't know. Buy it. I don't care. So anyway, that's really funny. Not 30, only 31 belts. Huh. Someone's bitter.
Yeah, no shit.
Is it
right?
because they broke a wrestling attendance record? Apparently, with most bought tickets. I like the wording on this. Most bought tickets. They have to keep saying it, and it's funny because they could have reached 90,000, and they were like, "We're gonna get 90. We're gonna get 90," and it was 81,035 or some shit.
Yeah, it wouldn't have broken Korea though.
Nope, but that doesn't get talked about.
But either it shouldn't, because basically you were held at gunpoint saying, "You're going to this show today." No joke.
Why was it so quiet there?
Are we allowed to choose?
All right. I know that you didn't do All In. That's fair enough. After I had a long several days of camping out in the woods, look at, man, everything. It's in paper. I apologize. I nothing's on the dock for you this week. The way it normally should be. But, hey, that's the best part about camping. But I will say, it was you who broke the news about both of the deaths this week in wrestling. So I do thank you for that, keeping the news, news with O.D.M, old school. But let's talk about All In Wembley. I know you saw the highlights. I know everybody saw the highlights. But I'll first just quickly talk about the first match because I fucking, God damn you, Tony. God damn you, Tony Khan. He put the tag team titles for Ring of Honor, took them off Aussie Open after they just won 3 weeks ago, to the kangaroo kicking duo of MJF and Adam Cole. Okay, I'm okay with it, okay? I guess. Because especially how the pay-per-view ended, we will get there. A song that is being played to nauseum during the 0 hour. It's the buy-in 0 hour, whatever they called this one. You know, it's because 0 hour is Ring of Honor, but that's what they called that match. But then it was about, I don't know, AEW.
Yeah.
But you had Machine Head. That song playing.
Yeah, I love that song.
Over and over. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Notice he says breathe in, never says another out, so you're supposed to fucking just keep it in. Okay. Is that how you become a machine head?
Probably. It's better than the rest.
Now look I actually decided to give my own star rating since I was going to watch the entire thing. I gave my own star ratings because I want to give you the real ones before Meltzer brings out
They're
the
actually out.
star.
I can pull it up if you want to compare.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, bring it up, get it ready. I love you. Thank you for having that ready. Now, after that match takes place...
Can I just add something real quick about the MJF and Cole thing?
Oh, please.
This could be something as simple as Adam Cole never winning the Ring of Honor tag titles. So maybe it's just a way to be like, hey, add that to my fucking resume. And a little side note, I don't know if you ever watch Hot Ones, the YouTube show.
Oh, yeah, I watched it just about a half hour ago before we decided to record. Both of them together.
And Adam Cole did it what they call the last dab, and you have to answer. It's like truth or dare. You answer a question truthfully, or you have to eat a hot wing. And they're like, it's the hottest wings. And MJF just cursing, and oh my God, it was great. Making fun of Adam, and dude, the whole thing was great. It was great. The bidding war of 2026 or something. He's like, I'm not selling for anything less than 7 figures. Like, he just came out and said it.
Lot will uncover, but during the media scrum, of course, he killed it again. You know, just being himself, and I love it. But all right, so Jungle Douchebag drops the FTW title to Hook, thankfully, which that match was made, one night before and put on the pre-show. Okay. I'm absolutely fine with. And he was supposed to retire it last Wednesday, but with the passing of Terry Funk, I think that's when he didn't retire the FTW. I think they decided the FTW title, I think they probably pushed it, which I get it. Fine. Yeah. But let's talk about during the match. There's a part where the car has a window.
Yeah.
And after the window spot, Jungle Boy looks at the camera and says, "It's real glass. Deal with it?" No. Shit. Why am I losing it right there off?
Yeah, it was. It was a
or
weird.
Like, get over it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Something.
Get over it.
But it was about the glass. It was something about the glass spot. It was basically about the glass spot, about what I told you just last week. How Punk was like, yeah, take that shit to Dynamite. Well, this is where we're going to have to put a halt on talking about All In. Due to several different reports, it's so hard to figure out what is right and what is wrong. But from what I've gathered, at the very best, Punk is in gorilla position getting ready to open the All In pay-per-view because, again, Jungle Boy's match was on the pre-show. Hook is still fucking over, by the way. And I'm like, they're dropping the ball with him so many times. But on the way back through Gorilla, they had exchange of words or whatever. And apparently the words, "do something about it," came out of Perry's mouth. They got face to face. A pie face was talked about. There's no punches, but the common talked about part is that Punk choked out or tried to choke out Jungle Boy. And I was like, well, it took all those years in UFC and all these years later, finally get. But motherfucker, could you not get in a fight for one fucking day and maybe make it to the pay-per-view 7 days that's in your, not from now, but I'm talking about the day of the pay-per-view. So now we are even less away. That's in your hometown. It's your backyard. And now you, along with Jungle Dingleberry, are fucking suspended. Phil, I am having trouble defending you. Look I'm a very big fan. Very, very big fan. And I will always be a mark for him. I don't give a fuck, okay? You have your diehards, right? Yours was, Taker, things like that.
Right.
And I cannot really keep defending this shit. I mean, it's you're getting in a lot of goddamn fights and you're killing yourself here. So now, what would have been likely Punk and MJF, we both know that's probably where it was going to go. We're probably just going to get MJF, Adam Cole, round 3. Because they had the one on Dynamite that went to the draw.
True. Yeah.
They had this one at All In. We're probably just going to get that. It is an extreme lackluster pay-per-view build-up already. The fact that this dude went 7 days apart for pay-per-views and then announced that he's doing it again next year, but we'll get to there. Give me your thoughts, man. I don't even know where to go from here.
Yeah, it's tough because I saw on Twitter somebody, I forget what website it was, maybe PW Insider, maybe Sean Ross Sapp. One of the ones we're used to hearing about, right? Was reporting, that there was the shove, the pie face, the chokehold, all that, and that Jack was told to leave. And Miro retweeted it and said, "Not true." Now, Miro, I don't know where he physically was when all that shit happened, so I don't know. I wonder how much of this is just fucking drama on purpose. This might be a fucking work.
Well, and it's funny because Tony did actually in the media scrum, as soon as it began, it's funny because if you go to the media scrum on YouTube, someone, you go to the comments and someone's like 36 minutes and blah, blah, blah seconds. It's like highlighted. And I was like, you're the man. Thank you. Because it's just the logo for 36 fucking minutes. They couldn't, fix that. But anyway, while in the media scrum, as soon as they begin, Tony goes, and I just want to say right now, before any of you ask, yes, there was an incident backstage. There's an investigation going on, and I cannot comment on it. So, I don't know if it was work or not a work. I don't know, man. But the fact that both are being suspended, okay, let's just say, for instance, fine, they're suspended today, right now, as we're recording this Kayfabe Pal Monday. Are you just all of a sudden going to have them show up at All Out? I mean, Punk is your fucking draw in Chicago. What is your other draw? Here, I'll even jump to it right now. Have you seen what All Out's lineup is?
Yeah.
Here's what we have so far. I'm not even lying. The most interesting match to me at all is finally the match that we probably should have got at Wembley, but it's Omega and Takeshita.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got TNT title, Darby versus Luchasaurus, Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro, which, great for them. I'm glad they're getting on a pay-per-view
I am
together.
looking forward to that match.
Agreed. Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho for the TBS title. I'm sure another match of Soho will just drop. Mm-hmm. And the International Championship is going to be Orange Cassidy or Penta, depending on tonight's match on Dynamite. Winners facing John Moxley for the International Championship.
Listen, man, I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I really think they're going to put the international title on Moxley.
And that's fine. Can I ask you a question? Are you closing the show with that?
With Moxley winning the title?
At All Out? Yeah. Because at this point, what the fuck are you closing? This thing has... Who's bought All Out? I'd be mad if I had a ticket to this thing.
I know, right? Left your car, came back, there was 2 more.
Such a good joke.
It is great.
I've used that for so many bands.
Taylor Swift, I use it for a lot too.
Oh, nice. I always did it for
DMB.
Basically anybody country.
That too.
So, all right, let's just get back into what All In provided, at least something that was positive, I guess. But it opens up with CM Punk against Samoa Joe for that championship with the X on it. That's right, the real world championship. So, for a good chunk of the beginning, I thought either my sound was fucked up on my TV or it was just the pay-per-view. TK was having a little bit of trouble, in my opinion, with the sound. There was at times where it sounded like a funnel, like it was like going up in the air, like a plane that's just leaving the sky. It had a weird funneling sound at times, and I was not a fan of it. I did not rate the first two matches because I didn't give a shit about them. But I will say one thing I forgot to mention is after Jack Perry obviously beat Rob Van Dam a couple of weeks ago, on top of the car, he did RVD's motion, did a rolling senton on top of Jack Perry, who was on the hood. It was kind of cool. I kind of appreciated seeing that one. But during the pre-show, we had certain announcers, and right as the pay-per-view was about to begin, we got Nigel McGuinness, Excalibur, and JR. Crowd pop for JR. Obviously, they went nuts for Nigel McGuinness as well. On the panel, we had Big Show, Kip Sabian, Anthony Ogogo, because
is
he from
Tony Khan?
Is he from the UK?
I have no fucking clue. Who cares?
Same here. And Renee Baguette. And I gotta say, I actually really like their panel way more than I do WWE. WWE is that, you see what I'm saying, sucker? Yeah. But it's also, I don't know if he can really withstand that kind of stuff, if he can really beat him or not. This was more of a boxing panel to me. And they're like, Chris Jericho, he's got all the experience, but let's be honest, he does have his age that's there. Ospreay's in his prime right now.
Yeah,
I don't think Ospreay can go wrong. But how they were doing it was more of like a boxing panel, and I really appreciated it.
No, definitely. I can agree with you there. Do you know who Ospreay's going to defend the title against next? Or who challenged him?
I did not hear yet.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, you know what? I did hear that. Yes. Oh, that'd be a fantastic match.
Hell yeah.
Now, also, by the way, at the All-In pre-show, Jeff Jarrett and his crew with Jay Lethal and everybody showed up, and that's when not only Big Show and Ogogo showed up, but they also brought Grado out.
Yeah.
And, because the faces, beat up on the heels just to get a little bit of a pop for the thing going, get the show going before even the first match. But so besides that,
oh wait, did you see who one of the security guards was in the ring?
So that's where I was going next.
Okay,
is that we had a contract signing for AEW All Out between Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro, and one of the security guards was Simon fucking Miller. Why? Let me tell you why. Because it was in his freaking backyard.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see him there. I was like,
good to see, yeah.
Sick.
That's huge for him, dude. That's huge. Dude, can you imagine that? Could you imagine being him?
Wembley.
Just like for that, yeah.
I can't wait to hear him talk about it on his next video. I want to hear what his take is. But let's get into, again, the main card. You had Punk and Joe. Punk was booed as soon as it got started.
Good shit.
I would say it's about a 25-75 crowd, 25% fans.
Wow.
Maybe, let's say, 33-66. It was pretty decently booed. Again, where I was like, is my TV this funnel issue going on? I'm like, is he really getting that fucking booed too? But one of my favorite things is in both, or actually a lot of CM Punk and Samoa Joe's matches, is Punk goes to the headlock and holds it, where you'll do like a suplex to him and he's still holding it, or like a back drop or something like that, and he's still holding it on. Went to that. Punk countered Samoa Joe's walk away.
Oh. How?
Right? Which never gets done. 5 seconds later, Punk goes to do something else. Joe does a walk away. And I was like, God damn, that was the shit. It was so awesome. It was just great. But you know how when someone goes to do a Hurricane Rana, and the guy catches him.
Oh, my God.
Did you see this highlight?
Dude, this was one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a long time.
I haven't seen anything like this ever. You break a table, you go to the top. Not Joe and Punk. He catches him in that Hurricane Rana style where he's holding him right at the waist or his thighs area and swings him like you see people do into a barricade into the table, and he just broke right through. It was fantastic. Marked out right there. Not going to lie, at this point right now, I'm like, this is going to be a pretty decent night.
Yeah, that's where Joe flipped off the camera, and I forget what he said. He said something, but he flipped off the camera.
I didn't catch what he said, to be honest with you. But yeah, he flipped off the camera. He was on fire, man. The crowd was eating it up too, man. They wanted Punk to lose. But Joe, I'm sorry. So after that, Punk is now bleeding. So we got color in our first match, which made me laugh because I was like, I can't wait to see what the next match is. Because does it delay things? Do they have to wrestle on his blood? And it was Paige. Paige was next, which I thought was really funny. I had that thought to myself.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think per match, like per quota, I think Punk bleeds as much as fucking Moxley does.
He's had less matches, but yes. But yeah, so what was funny is that Punk ends up doing the 5 moves of doom, John Cena's moves, which I was like, okay. But instead of the fist, he does a fucking Hulk Hogan leg drop. Again, I was in. I thought it was great. And then Joe ends up, as Punk keeps punching him, Joe starts hulking up. And then he does the you. And the crowd did it with him. I was like, I love this match. These guys are just a fine wine, man. They just get better. They just get better. And CM Punk ends up winning with the Pepsi Plunge, which is, if you don't know, a pedigree off of the top rope. And it was hit beautifully. I mean, Punk... Noah, it has nothing necessarily to do with Punk on a lot of this. It has to do with the guy who is going to take that fall. The funniest thing was, I sent it to you earlier, was a meme of Punk and Tony Khan talking to each other at a press conference from like years ago, or a year ago or whatever. And he goes, I told him I want to end with the Pepsi Plunge. And Tony Khan goes, ha! And I told him I'm a Coke guy. Punk played a major heel. Look at, if the crowd's going to boo you, don't act like you're a face.
Embrace it.
And he did.
You know
I'm
who
gonna
else
give
was like
them.
that? You know who else was like that?
Oh yeah.
Who could do face or heel and it didn't matter, right? Terry Funk.
That is very true.
Terry Funk's
I'm
one of those
actually
guys.
excited to talk about that later. Which also, the man made several movie appearances. So we'll talk about that as well. I give this. I am only going on a 5-star basis because I'm not a fucking psycho like Dave Meltzer and keeps changing it every year.
Right.
5-star ranking. I give this one a 3.5. 3.5 stars.
Wow. Okay. Meltzer gave it a 4.5.
This is good, man. But it's not my old school Punk and Joe. I know what I'm getting right now. I liked Orton and Cena in 2009. You do it in 2023, it's not going to hold a candle to their feud. I don't give a shit how you look at it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just personal. And here's my thing. I didn't even know. I stayed off all websites yesterday, during All In, so that I didn't see anything because I was late to the party getting back from camping. So I didn't even know about this Punk and Jack Perry bullshit because that broke in 14 minutes into the pay-per-view. Everybody's like, oh, there's an altercation backstage. And it happened right in Gorilla. And it's funny because on my notes, I actually wrote, once I found out the next match, I go, well, how is that walking by Gorilla? Because up next is Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi against Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Tateska. So how? I'm like, did they walk right by? And then you hear Punk had security walking him all over the place after this Perry shit. I can't believe they're both suspended. I'm still pissed off about this. I'm just every now and then I'm just gonna go, fucking Phil. The exact right team win over. The faces did not need a win. They're all known. These heels on the biggest stage for this company, and for a good chunk of the guys on that team, as well as the guys that walked down to the ring with them, the Guns, the heels needed to win, and they did. My only problem, Jay White, his finishing move, is Sister Abigail.
It's Sister Abigail, or the Crossroads, yeah.
Never hits it.
Yeah.
Teased it so many times and was never able to hit it. I gotta say, 5 out of 6 people in this match belonged. Paige, just to me, it was all like it was very everything minus New Japan, everything that's not New Japan, you know what I mean? It was just an AEW person in a New Japan match. Ibushi, better than Blood and Guts, still not looking absolutely Ibushi-like. I think he's lost his golden star, no pun intended. He's not that guy anymore, man. He looks extremely washed up to me.
Yep. No, I agree. Yeah. I just, Takeshita and Robinson, both stars. Give them as much time as you can.
And White.
Yeah, White's good. I feel like I like Juice better.
Oh, my God. You know what I like about Juice? Is that he has a very high-pitched, annoying voice, and he likely knows it, or at least can do that voice. He could probably talk just like us right here. But then when he's in the ring, he's like, "Come on, Jay White! Come on!" I can't even fucking do it. He's like a very, more like a, "Come on!" Like, very, just, I don't know, very half Pee Wee Herman-like almost, but very,
wow.
I
That's
like
a weird
it.
comparison, but yeah. I like it.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying. I tried. It was great to see the heels go over. I give this one a 3.75 stars.
Meltzer gave it 4 1/4
on a 5-star ranking. Mm-hmm. This guy, Jesus,
is still giving 4s.
This guy is still rating matches. I can't wait to hear what he gave this one. FTR versus the Young Bucks 3. The right team won. FTR closes the trilogy.
Thank God.
Which, thank God. I will say, there was... All right, I'll tell you right now my match rating, and I'm going to tell you why after, but I want to hear what Melty gave it. I'm giving this one a 4.25.
Okay.
What'd he give?
4.75.
Okay. All right, fine. Problem is, Matt's favorite Northern Lights suplex into a Northern Lights suplex into... Yeah, same. Either he was not able to lift, or Dax was not on his getting off of his body, or his body off the mat game. They tried it so many times, and it just looked like shit. I'm like, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. And it was multiple times they went to it, and I was like, something's not right with this. And it to me, brought it down. It was, and I actually wrote, it's a Northern Lights botch fest. Other than that, it was actually a pretty good match. Stealing each other's finishers were fantastic. Cash went to the well that he went wrong in match number 1. He did a high-risk move, and it almost fucked him over again. He did a flip. And they were able to kick out. Bucks did the... what's the...
Shatter Machine, or Big Rig.
Big Rig. Oh my God. But then they did their own super kicks and shit. And it was just and a Meltzer driver. I was losing my mind. I was like, okay, great way to finish all this shit off. I'm okay with this. It's not a bad match. As much as I really can't stand the Bucks, they can put on a decent match when they're supposed to. And kudos to them in Wembley. They came out dressed like Freddie Mercury.
There you go. I was just about to say
it. So yeah, they totally happy with everything right there. It was a great match. They were just stealing each other's moves and finishers like they've wrestled each other for years, which it should be. And it's funny because if you saw the build-up, it was, we named you guys, the FTR. And they're like, you didn't name us, man. Like, and it's the whole thing is Forever the Revival, but really it was the Fuck the Revival, as you and I remember when BTC was actually something fun to watch. Or what would it be? BTE. Yes. Oh, dear shit. Funny part. Before I even get into this next match, a Young Bucks streamer has been stuck from their entrance, right? Like how it goes, And it's like giant-ass streamers. Yeah, it stayed there to the end of the night. It was annoying as fuck. I was like, someone get it down, someone get it down. I don't care what you do. Get one of those real long, sticky hands that when you throw them in the air, they go to the wall. I don't give a shit. What you have to do, get it down. It's bothering me. It was there all night. Anyway. Oh, you know what? You're in Wembley Stadium. We should have a Wembley Stadium Stampede.
Or not. That'd be cool, too.
They did. So Phoenix had some visa issues, so they were down a guy. This part I did see as I was starting to travel before heading into Woods, and I couldn't have any reception for the rest of the weekend. I did see this, and I was like, oh, shit, they're going to start piecing things together and putting random people in. But oddly enough, instead of adding 3 people to the Blackpool Combat Club, they just added Santana and Ortiz and said, okay, that's it, 5 versus 5. God damn. I don't know whose idea it was, who they consulted on that, but good job.
Booker of the Year.
Yeah. No, but it's better than going the 6.
No, 100%.
He would have...
Yeah.
Normally he would have been like, you know what? We could probably put Big Show in here tonight. Just something stupid.
He could turn at the end of the night.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Santana and Ortiz. Last time we saw them. Now, we did see Ortiz a little longer. He was a part of that mixed tag team match that Ruby Soho got her fucking nose broken at All Out last year.
Yep.
But last time we saw Santana and Ortiz was Blood and Guts. Do you remember who they were teaming with?
Was it still the, what was it even before the fucking Jazz? What was it? Fucking,
No, it was 100% Jericho Appreciation Society.
Oh, okay.
Versus Kingston. What was supposed to be Bryan Danielson, but ended up being Claudio, as well as Santana and Ortiz.
Okay.
They're on Kingston's side. For no reason, they should be feuding with Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they did. Booker of the Year.
Yep.
It bothered me just so much. I was like, this doesn't make sense. This makes no fucking sense to me. Like, even more so, your homeboy, Kingston, absolutely fucking hates Claudio. Why are you on his team? Booker of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this thing was all over the place. Cameras couldn't even keep up, which was fucking annoying. Like, we were missing things. I mean, shit, they do it everywhere else all across the world in death matches. You know what we should do? Put some skewers in John Moxley's head.
Yep, I saw. It was pretty gross looking, too. Looked like part of his
really
scalp
gross.
started lifting off.
Yeah, because it's gross. It's funny because the more that they're going all over the arena, you're really peeling back the filter here and showing everybody how many empty seats there are in this fucking arena. There were a lot, and every time they were fighting all over the place, I'm like, that's an entire row. Like, it's pretty bad.
Yep. And
then all of a sudden... Oh, actually, there's one part where fans actually had to start... they go, oh my god... No, I'm sorry. I wrote that. I'm sorry. The whole point with the empty seats that made me laugh is that Excalibur goes, oh my god, look at... All the fans had to run out of that area. Nice save of why it's empty. No.
What a twat. Commentator of the Year.
So all of a sudden, Penta has a move done to him by Santana. And the refs come running over and they go, yo, come here. And I go, oh, fuck. Santana looks so concerned. And I was like, what? His first match back, and I think he just fucking broke Penta's neck because he's holding his head and around his neck. He did the bump, laid still, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just pops up, goes like within a half a second.
Right.
And I go, oh my god! And I was like, you got to be shitting me! I'm like, this is bad. Meanwhile, Trent's mom shows up in the van.
Oh, buff fungal.
And then lights go out. And it's Dark Penta Sierra Mero of the Dark or whatever. It was just a different version.
Penta
the
Oscuro.
whole thing was a goddamn ruse. And I was like, oh, thank God. But also, good job, Santana, because you made me fall for it. What'd you say?
That's good. No, Penta Oscuro. I mean, that's who it was. But yeah,
sure.
Don't care. It was a ruse, a cunning attempt to trick you.
What is that from? What is that from? Is it a movie or a show?
Movie. Yeah, it's a movie. Clerks.
Name the actor. It says that. Oh, it's Clerks. There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Up next.
Oh, wait. You didn't give a star match for that one.
Oh. You don't want my star.
Okay, fine. Meltzer.
Jesus Christ.
4.5.
Out of here. Get the... I gave it 1.5. I swear to God.
It was good as CM Punk versus Samoa Joe and better than Omega, Bushi, and Page versus Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even know where to go from there, man. I don't even know if I'm going to hear any more of his ratings. I can't wait. But Saraya wins the women's Fatal 4-Way against Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Toni Storm. This thing was all over the goddamn place. First, Saraya's entire family comes out with her. The brother that never got to make it, the parents, all of them. And they come out to We Will Rock You in Wembley, which is cool.
Right.
But what they were trying to get, I really think, was the video screen with Saraya, Saraya.
Oh.
And they were doing it with the song, right? No one was chanting. They were just like, Mariera boy, make a bing.
Everybody's waiting for that part.
So, it was cool, Live Aid. AIDS.
Yeah.
So, it was a hometown win for Saraya. Ruby gets involved. Everybody's all mad. I think the Outcasts are done with each other from
Thank
whatever
God.
we've seen here on this whole thing. Yeah,
Let Toni
I'm fine
Storm
with that.
win back the title from Saraya. There you go.
Ruby was in there for legitimately like 0.004 seconds. Like, she went in, did one quick thing, that was it. Thanks for coming.
Right. Yep, no shit.
You get to pay your own ticket to get there?
Relegated to the job squad forever.
I gave this 2.25 stars.
Okay, Meltzer gave it 3.5.
Notice where I'm at logically and where he's at. And I'm not even an AEW hater. If I choose to watch one product versus another, it's generally AEW versus WWE. So you would think I would highly rate these things. Up next, a coffin match. Aptly spot. I gotta be honest, I had some feels here for Swerve, for Darby. Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Young guys, and Swerve was let go from NXT. He's made his run through the indies, and this was huge.
Yeah.
He came out rapping. And you know who else this was big for? Sting, dude. It was cool. A.R. Fox was replaced in this by Christian. I don't know. I forgot the reason why, and I really don't give a shit. It's just another thing. But it kind of works with, Darby going against Luchasaurus. I kind of like that Christian was 100%. There too.
That's a logical
I'm sure
decision.
a lot of people are like, and here comes Edge. Here comes Edge. Nah, Edge didn't show up. I told you. Ray ain't coming home.
Next week.
I gave this match 3 stars.
Meltzer gave it 4.
We're just on that one off from each other. I thought it was cool. There was a part where a table didn't break, and then Sting goes up and does just a really cool body leg drop right on top of Swerve and broke.
It looked like it was supposed to be an elbow drop, but then it turned into a leg drop, and he just landed straight on top of Swerve. It looked pretty brutal.
Swerve didn't give a shit. He's like, yo, Sting just landed on top of me in Wembley Stadium. I'll die. I'm good. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it was a feel-good moment, I felt like, for all 4 guys in there. I'm like, for any one of them who were there, I'm like, I don't think Christian's ever wrestled in Wembley either. So it was it's a huge thing. I liked it. Up next was Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. God damn you, Chris Jericho. Did you hear what he did? Did you hear his Freddie Mercury tribute? So
no, I heard he came out and he played the band. Fozzy was there and they played Judas.
Yes, which was cool. He sang it on the way to the ring. The guys played. But before he starts, he goes, "Ay-oh,
Oh no,
ay-oh,
no, no!
ay-oh." And the funny part is, you got wrestling fans. Not every one of them are going to be listening to Queen. They're like, "Oh, okay."
So it's
Scott Hall here.
He is not qualified to do that, nor should he ever do it again. It's great because at the Amex games, like in between plays, they'll play that audio of Mercury.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's so fucking great because everybody knows it and everybody does it. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, well, Ayo, Jericho, don't do that again.
For real.
The match was really cool. I actually really did end up liking watching them have their match. It was pretty good overall. A lot of psychology between both guys, and it was great.
I saw one clip of a move. It was like a reversal into a reversal and a reversal, and I think Jericho ended up had him in the lion tamer or the walls.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was one part where he tries to low blow Jericho, and he moves out of the way, and Jericho gets to low blow him. It's funny because when I finally got to Civilization, I was able to look at my phone. I saw a picture of Jericho and Ospreay during their contract signing on Dynamite, and I saw Ospreay wearing just his green United Empire shirt, but then a green hat, and I go, what the fuck is John Cena talking to Chris Jericho for? Quick glance, it's what it looked like. I was like, I swear to God, I thought it was John Cena. Like the hustle, loyalty, respect, green era. It's 100% what it looked like.
Wow.
But I gave this match 4.25 stars.
Wow. 4.5 for Meltzer.
Okay. I actually really did enjoy this match. I would say that, okay, I put Bucks and FTR at the same thing, 4.25. Nothing got higher than that, by the way. Both those matches, I would say, in their own rights, were a show stealer, depending on how you looked at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that sounds stupid because you can't have two show stealers, but maybe they're in the cahoots. But match 8. I don't know why the fuck we had to make this match at the last minute as well as have a title change, but the Acclaimed with Daddy Ass, which cool for him, all right, man, at his age at Wembley, winning the Trios Championship, cool. But did House of Black really need to drop these titles?
I don't think so, no. And what's up? I don't know how old Julia Hart is, but Billy Gunn telling her to suck this dick. I don't know what the laws are in England.
I was like, no, it's totally fine in the UK. It's totally cool, man. You don't even know what they're allowed over there. I gave this match 2 stars. It was all over the place. I didn't even care for it that much, and I watched nearly every move.
Sounds like the only cool thing was House of Black bringing out the lantern.
Buddy Murphy was holding the lantern.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
Yeah. They know how to make an entrance. I'll give them that. Meltzer gave it 3. So, still low on it.
I think Adam Cole, MJF, the main event was better than I expected, to be honest with you. I was like, I like Adam Cole, and I do like MJF in the ring with the right guy, like a Danielson, a Punk, some of your guys that, have that storytelling ability. And I was like, I just don't know how these guys are going to main event. I would have rather seen Punk and Joe main event, I think.
Sure.
And then I watched this match, and I was like, shit. I gave this 4 stars.
4.75 from Meltzer.
Yeah, I knew he was going to. I did like that they had a callback, too, because they did the double clothesline, which is, a big thing that they kept, teasing throughout the thing, which was cool that they double clothesline each other and pin each other. And the crowd was like, suck our dicks. No way are we ending this way. And Adam Cole says, 5 more minutes, Max. Which go back to their Dynamite match all the way back before the Blind Eliminator tournament. When they went to a draw, MJF was like, nope. MJF accepts. And then wins with a roll-up. I liked it. They had a lot of great reversals. The match was pretty decent, more than I thought it was going to be. And it was funny because at the end, he's MJF is still. I guess he's face. I don't know. I'm having trouble understanding this thing. I'm like, he still has a fucking.
Told you.
Turned. Roddy tries getting involved, and to a fail. I was like, so no one turned on anybody in the entire fucking match. That was the turn. No one turned.
The turn is that nobody turned. Yeah, yep. Roddy's the Ruby Soho.
Yep. Poor guy. So, what was great, though, is at the end of the match, MJF, was trying to console Adam Cole. And he's like, but I lost. And MJF goes, here, take the fucking title. I don't want it. And I was like, wow. I'm like, okay, we're bringing this to a completely different level. They hug it out, and they're ROH Tag Team Champions, as well as, MJF retains. And as they go off the air, someone put the straw down and walked to the ring. Did you see the video?
No.
Yeah, when I say put the straw down, I'm not saying like he did it maybe an hour before that. I'm saying at the exact moment before walking out. Because we are coming here next year, and we're doing all in, and we're doing all out. We're going to do your mom. We're going to do everything here in Wembley. I don't give a fuck. I'm stomping my foot right here. That's how he was seriously stomping his foot, and he was all jacked the fuck up. And I was like, I don't even understand how the crowd's hearing him.
Adderall's hell of a drug.
Yeah, Jesus. Pepsi Plunge, I like Coke. Oh, man. So, yeah, now, here I thought it was just a stupid blunder to do back-to-back weeks on pay-per-view and maybe just, all right, let's do it one time. No. He's saying next year he wants to do the exact same goddamn thing. He's back there next year, yeah. August 25th.
Give us a fucking break, bro. Unless we can pay, if we can pay the same price for both of them in one shot, maybe.
Fair. Well, and you don't even have to wait till after All Out is over. You don't even have to wait till Full Gear. Looks like those rumors we heard from Warner Brothers is that they want to have more pay-per-views. Well, in October, you're getting Wrestle Dream, and it's on the 1-year anniversary of Antonio Inoki's death.
Yep.
Of course, TK is going to capitalize on that, you dickhead. Sure. Like, you didn't even... Oh, Jesus Christ. I won't even go down that road. And he's saying he hopes to get some New Japan people on the show for that. I hope all of them are like, you know what? Suck our dick. You're not
Fuck
gonna.
you, bitch.
Yeah, come on, man. You're gonna capitalize off that. You never even met him. But speaking of, doing something in a tribute, how disappointing was the SmackDown tribute for you?
Seemed thrown together. Apparently, was it the Street Profits and somebody?
Brawling Brutes
had a hardcore match. It
a
wasn't
Terry Funk hardcore match.
Yeah, it wasn't at all even close. Not even by WWE sanitized standards was it a hardcore match. I did like the video package they did for Bray. It was cool that Eric Redbeard was there. I did think that was cool.
And Strowman.
Yep. Well, yeah. LA Knight did a promo, and I get it. That was the Fiend's last feud, and LA Knight even said, he's like, yeah, I don't really know him. I wasn't really friends with him, but you know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It was all right.
Answer your question. Owen Hart is on your roster. He dies. Everybody does a tribute, starts talking about him. Eddie Guerrero dies. Everybody's talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Chris Benoit died, and half of your show is people talking about that dude and you didn't even know he murdered his whole family at that point. You couldn't have some superstars just do some candid interviews? We talk about your production value all the time.
Yep.
And I get that, you have Bray and Terry. How about you scrap your SmackDown plans for the night and just make it that only, man? The complete tribute show. You do your matches, you got your armbands and all that stuff, but at this point, I think you should have... I think they dropped the ball on how they could have done a tribute for both guys, but especially Bray, since he's on your current roster. He was there not too long ago. Right. Yes, last appearance was that blunder of the Mountain Dew dark match
Pitch Black.
with Pitch Black with Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas. That we
so what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that they? I'm not asking you if you think they will. I'm like, do you think it's...
Oh, they're going to capitalize on this, and they're going to make Bo Dallas WWE champion as Uncle Howdy or some stupid shit.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering
Look
my
what the
question.
fuck they did with Eddie Guerrero's death. They're like, find the smallest guy in the roster and make him our world heavyweight champion. Yep.
I did hear that. I don't know if this was on the show or not. I heard that Roman delivered the blue Universal title to Bray's family.
Oh, okay. Yo, he's your locker room leader. I hate to say this. Wasn't at the show. You couldn't fly in for that?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. Cody flew in.
Well, Seth wasn't there because he was ending his family time. But I mean, he said he's like when Brody died, he's like he was talking with Bray, and Bray's like, just go hug your kids, don't worry about anything else. So he's like, I know he would say that to me now, so I'm home with my kids.
Did you see the video of Seth at the live event?
Yeah,
in Minneapolis,
he broke down on
crying in the ring, but then crowd's chanting. He's got the whole world in his hands, and then he ends it with "Follow the Buzzards." I was like, oh, respect to you, man. Good, just goddamn. Because look at man, the Shield and Wyatts came in roughly at the same time. They all were in NXT together, and then countless feuds with each other, which we're gonna get into in a little while. So that's why I was kind of mad that Roman wasn't even there. But like I said, you couldn't do some candid interviews, but that's just me personally. That's how I would have liked to seen them do that show. Also, I was camping and didn't find out till fucking 2 days later how they did the show. So
well, that's the thing. I found out, and that's why I put it in the messenger group, because I was like, well, he'll see it when he gets back, as opposed to texting you, so.
No, we were traveling between one site to another, and it came through, and I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, and same thing. I was like, he's probably got it wrong. Let me look it up. And hey, thank you to you. Thank you to Lil Jon, Buster, even fucking Nightwing, man. No one ruined anything for Wembley. I had this weird feeling I was going to get one goddamn spoiler somewhere. Nothing. And
Shout out to
actually
Nightwing.
was enjoying. Yeah. Hey, hope you're doing all right, brother. But I do got to bring something up about Buster the Intern. He messaged me last week. He said, Will Ospreay is indeed from the UK. I go, I fucking knew it. Because last week I think you said you thought he was Australian.
I thought he was from New Zealand, yeah. No, it wasn't Ospreay that I said. No, I didn't say Ospreay was from the UK. No, I said we're going to have to fucking
you
go
said
back
he wasn't.
and listen to it. No, we're going to have to go back
I don't listen to our shows. No one does. Anyway, you know what? Let's go to the fucking table.
Just bring it, bitch! Oh my God!
Oh man, you know what? We usually do the weekly Cornette reference, and I feel like I'm gonna have to start doing weekly Eric Bischoff references.
Don't do that.
No, not necessarily, but oh man, this dude, I agree with him again on something. Many levels. First, he was like, I just read earlier, he's like, this whole fucking company's a mess. He's like, this whole thing is going to implode, and it's just, they're not going to make it. I don't think that AEW could really make it. If Tony cannot get in, be in charge, basically, of all these guys the right way, this thing's going to implode. But that's not what I agree with on Eric Bischoff, or with Eric Bischoff this week. Bischoff. Old EB, Easy E, made a very, very, very valid point. Watch anything other than Dynamite and Collision, okay? Watch any other show. If you're going to watch Raw, even for Kayfabe Pal, tonight, I see that tonight we're having a Falls Count Anywhere match between Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark. And it's in prep for the Steel Cage match with her and Trish coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You know that match. And you know that we may get an interview from one person. That's it. AEW lays out their entire goddamn card to you almost an entire week in advance, and then by the day of, you know almost every segment of what's going to be on Dynamite tonight. And you can make the decision right there. Do I watch or do I not watch? They're ruining it. They're giving everything away of what, and I 100% agree. I do it. I go, let's see what tonight is. Orange Cassidy versus this guy. Nope. Ooh, John Moxley's going to speak. Nope. I do the same fucking thing, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll watch highlights, or I'll maybe watch it tomorrow. The urgency of watching live, not even there.
No,
not even
it's
close.
not, no.
And I will even give you that for even Nitro. back in its heyday, he would say next week we'll maybe have a match. But usually you went in the night show, you didn't even know shit.
Mm-hmm.
But even Raw back then, you didn't even know a whole lot. But even Raw right now, you only get one match announced. Maybe SmackDown. This Friday, we're going to hear from Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. That's it. That's
Which
all
you knew
you
you
know.
were going to get that anyway.
Sure, but my point is that you tune in to see what the rest of it is. You
Right.
fill me in on everything. I don't need to see it. Thanks for the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, and especially now, you can almost guarantee that the beginning of any of those shows is going to be Orange Cassidy. He always opens the show.
Oh, he had his 30th successful title defense.
That's fun.
Penta challenged him at the media scrum for tonight, and he's like, I'm going to take that gold from you. And Alex Abrahantes talked, and I fucking hate him.
Did you see? He's not that bad. Oh, wait, no, that's the other guy. Who the fuck knows? Did you see the interview where they were asking Cassidy about the whole pockets gimmick and everything?
No.
Did you see? Apparently he does it so he can make sure that Tony's Adderall pills don't spill out of his pocket.
That's a good one. I like that. That's great. Oh, that's a good thing to bring to the table. What else you got?
Finally, the O.D.M. is going back to Toronto. Yup.
Oh, yeah?
Mere months after my fabled tale of my previous excursion to Toronto, I'm heading back, actually leaving tomorrow or yesterday. Yeah, gonna be good. Excited.
Well, don't get in any in trouble, Remember to...
Yeah, I'm like 30 years old.
S-U-N-E-R-A, C-L-O-U-G.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Nice. Exciting, man.
Yeah,
well,
dispensaries.
This time, just take a look at every ID.
I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'll tell my kid to watch
Oh,
it.
yeah, married.
But he'll be able to get away with it.
You know what, man? I cannot tell you how excited I am for... I think the last time I was this excited about talking about the wars was probably when I was there. And, yeah, that's right, Revenge of the Taker. But, man, I'm excited because this was one of my favorite pay-per-views in the entire Attitude Era. Let's go to the wars. Monday Night Wars!
D'Lo using that chest protector to his advantage. You can't do that to the referee! Oh, yes, you can! Sable got in the head of these guys and showed them how to have fun. The loser will get his head shaved. The beautiful blonde locks of Double J being modified drastically. So it's going to be Miro and Edge starting it out here in this mixed tag team match. I don't know quite what to expect in a structure like that. Balls count anywhere in New York City.
The Rock is the best damn Intercontinental champ there ever was. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
It should be a classic. And where else would you want it to be but a SummerSlam in Madison Square Garden?
O.D.M., let me ask you a question. Do you know what today for SummerSlam 98, do you know what that means? Do you know what it officially means by watching this pay-per-view?
It's the
I no longer have to hear
I thought it was the 25th anniversary when your balls dropped.
No, that's the 9th anniversary. Is only like 2-3 years ago. All right, look.
I didn't mean literally. Oh.
Not gonna lie. You ever listen to stand up with Ricky Gervais? Any of his stuff?
Some of it, yeah.
So our entire camping trip this weekend was us just finding different stand-ups, either on Netflix, things like that, Prime, and just putting them on, streaming it through the car while taking 3-4 hour drives. And we listened to two of his Humanity and I forgot what the other one was. And that's something he actually talks about. And yeah, check it out. If you haven't listened to his or watched his stand-ups, fantastic. But We did do the Highway to Hell. We did do SummerSlam 98. It's the 25th anniversary. And I'd like to say, personally, you may not know this. This is absolutely my favorite pay-per-view of 1998 for sure. Probably top 3 of the Attitude Era altogether. Where does Attitude stop for you? Let me ask you that question. Because it's sketchy to me. To me, nobody counts 97 with Hart versus U.S., right? No one counts that as Attitude. But to me, I'm like, that's pretty kind of close, right? But
it's pretty close.
All right, fine. Let's say it's 98. Let's say it's even, because it was, what, like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later? Let's just say beginning of 98, whatever. Beginning of 98, where does Attitude Era end for you? When WCW died?
I feel like it went back a little further than that.
Okay.
I almost want to say like
2000.
Yeah, maybe 2002. That seems like a stretch. I feel like I'm trying to look. I feel like we've done this before where we talked about the different eras of WWE. Right. I was trying to find it here, but I'm not seeing anything.
I will say then, where I'm really getting at this is that this right here, man, the on paper, the card isn't exactly stellar, but like when the whole pay-per-view beginning to end, one of my favorites. Maybe because it's fucking Madison Square Garden. I love a good MSG show.
Yeah, so my thing with this is that it really, I got done watching it and not remembering, the entire card. I got done with this. I'm like, that was a fucking great pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Just fun. Every match had something unique. As you know, as I do, I like to let you know where I was this time. You probably didn't watch us live. Where were you in August of 98?
I was back home in Rochester getting ready to finish up at MCC. Or start at MCC or something like that. I don't know.
Nice. So, on this day, I will say, I'm 8th grade at this point. So...
Jesus Christ.
I know, I love talking this with you. But, that being said, it was probably 2-3 weeks in advance. Can I get the pay-per-view? Can I get the pay-per-view? Can I get it? You gotta ask mom and dad. And they were cool about it. They're like, no, this one, that's cool. You actually fucking passed school this year. That's fucking cool. Congrats. Year before was touch and go. Anyway, so we ended up, they were like, yeah, no, go ahead, have your friends over. However, that day, your dad is having there's a work party that's going on that was like in Webster. And you may remember my parents live in fucking Holly, so, an hour. But it was a giant clam bake. So I had to go to my dad's work party. Knowing that I got my boy showing up at 7 o'clock, pay-per-view starts at 8 o'clock. And, man, being an adult and not giving a fuck about your kids, I guess I understand it, but I was like, it's 6. It's 6. We really gotta go, because I'm having a panic attack over here. I'm gonna lose my shit. It's just the countdown. Not the countdown. Fuck you. Anyway. But, funny enough, is my cousin, she is like 2 years younger than me, but like 2 years older than my youngest sister. So they would hang out. She was like, yeah, I'll come back and hang out for the night. I'm like, it's a bad idea. Because I got with this one douchebag friend who I actually, for some fucking reason, happen to work with to this day at my company. I was like, he's gonna fucking hit on her. I goddamn know it. I'm like, goddamn it. And he was like, yo, what's her name? I'm like, she doesn't have a name. Fuck you. You know what it is, and it's anyway. But that night I had that douchebag. Well, I should start calling him that. His name is Zeke, but we're gonna start calling him that douchebag. But we also had that boy there, my boy Spada, a man I've never talked about before on the show, my buddy Emery, and our very, very close buddy, Newbold. Justin Newbold, but we all called him Newbie. This dude was like the wrestling Wikipedia before the internet. We used to laugh with this dude all the time. Like he was like, well, he hails from Tampa, but actually he really lives in blah blah blah. And we'd be like, yo, what's his fucking social security number, dude? Like, about maybe shit, man, it's 7, 8, 9 years ago. Newbie passed. One of my favorite wrestling dudes to always talk wrestling about, and Buffalo Bills. One of my favorite dudes, like just all time, as a buddy from school. So I miss him, especially with certain things when I'm like, yo, he'd rip this the fuck apart. Because he likes to rip shit apart. So, but it was always great to have at those pay-per-views. So that night, huge house full of pay-per-view, full of my buddies for a pay-per-view. We all start school a week or two. And me and this dude Emery are jawing with each other. Not bad. Nowhere near bad. I can't wait till the day that I get into a real story. And he's like, there is no fucking way that Austin's losing this. And I go, I gotta be honest, man. Taker's red hot. You got Kane. I go, I think fucking Taker's taking this tonight, man. I was like, he's doing it here in Madison Square Garden. They're doing it. Fun fact. Did you know the very first WWE Championship title change happened only 1 year prior, when Hart beat Undertaker? All the years prior, from 88 to 96, no world title change.
On SummerSlam.
So, on SummerSlam, that's what I'm sorry, 100%, yes, at SummerSlam. This one right here, I was like, oh man, I think Taker's got it. And my buddy Emery just got the new Stone Cold Steve Austin Championship belt. We're talking the styrofoam version, okay? And I go, I bet your title on it. And he goes, I bet your VHS tape that's recording right now that Austin wins this. You know how this went. But it's kind of funny because, you know, my dad being my dad, he heard this and he goes, You bet the title or the tape? Why would you fucking do that? That's fucking stupid. He's getting all fucking mad at me. My buddy's like, yo, he's all right. So I'm gonna make a copy of this at home and I'm gonna bring you back your original, okay? So you don't, you know. Yeah. Anyway, but it was funny because we're having a good time arguing back and forth. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Right now, in 2001, if by some fucking reason we make it to Royal Rumble 2001, you're going to hear a story where that boy actually, and myself, almost got into a legit fisticuffs for him being a cunt. And I'm talking in my house.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I don't know that we'll get that far, but if not, you can just tell the story anyway. Bring it to the table.
That's true, but you're going to want to hear this shit. But anyway, that's You know, the joys of hosting a pay-per-view. But this being said, I had a bunch of my boys over at the house. It was one of my favorite pay-per-views because everything that was happening, it was just such a great show from top to bottom. I'm so glad that you also got to find out, as you heard in our sound clip, finally who Sable's partner was, because I was like, God damn, I can't wait for you to figure this out. But do me a favor, break down SummerSlam 98, Madison Square Garden.
You were telling the story, I almost forgot what we were doing here.
You were supposed to tell me what you were doing that exact day.
No, I don't fucking remember. I don't remember what we did 15 minutes ago. Revisiting the Monday Night Wars, we are August 30th, 1998, SummerSlam 98. It's at MSG. I know you mentioned this is the last time you had your Highway to Hell, but naturally I watched it on the cock, and all I got was generic rock on the cock.
Another, man, we need to start making a list of, if it could only be our title for the show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Generic rock on the cock.
Yeah. I knew you'd pop for it, so I had to keep it in there. All right, so I got to say the intro match, the opening match, was a kind of a mystery to me. I didn't quite get it, but, I mean, it is what it is. It was still a decent match. It was Val Venus versus D'Lo for the European title. I did listen to Val's intro.
My favorite one of all time for him. Yes, please do it.
I saw, and I came again. Oh!
Oh!
He didn't do the thing.
Nice. A dice man.
Right. D'Lo is announced as originally from Chicago, now hailing from Helsinki, Finland.
Yep.
Every show, because on Heat they said he was from Portugal or something. So he's the European title. He's from hailing from a European country. Makes sense.
Never done before, never done again, and I think it's fantastic. I used to love this.
Yep.
It's the only way I even knew where certain parts of the
that
countries
Carmen
were.
San Diego.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
You're like taking social studies. They're like, and then there's Finland. I'm like, oh, D'Lo Brown lived there for a week.
Right. So D'Lo's in control most of the match. He goes for a power bomb, but he just drops Venus. Commentaries like, oh, a lot of perspiration out here or something. It is the middle of summer. I'm like, okay. And it's just they kind of just sat around for a minute, and then they did it again. It was a running power bomb, which is kind of sketchy when you think about what happens with that move later. But, that's just a weird correlation you make in your head, I hope.
What happens?
Asshole. At one point, Val Venus takes off D'Lo's chest protector. He puts it on. The ref tries to stop Val Venus from going to the top rope, knocks him off and crotches him on accident. So Val's like, well, let me try again. The ref stops him. Val Venus just shoves him to the mat. Ref calls for a DQ. Val Venus slams the ref and hits the money shot on him. You.
Oh, God damn. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Is I was admittedly that dumbass that, I was in 8th grade, I knew some things. I didn't know everything, okay? Maybe when we have our next non-wrestling conversation, I'll get into when I really understood what certain things were in life.
Or not.
But
That's fine, too.
Or not. You're right. I'll text it to you. But no. I was like, money shot. I'm like, is that because you get like paid for doing that porn flick? And my buddy was like, nope. Oh. That's the only one.
See, we're just going to avoid this one. Okay, anyway. Michael Cole's backstage.
Let me tell you a little story about the birds and the bees.
No, just listen to the song instead. Cole's backstage with Mankind in a hearse that under Austin destroyed on Heat earlier that night. Mankind's just going on a rant about how he rented the hearse and he's not going to get his money back. He brought the hearse to put Kane in, but it was a funny spot. Next, you get the Kai and Tai versus the Oddities. It's a 4-on-3 handicap match. So, thankfully for me, not only is there generic rock on the cock, but there's also no ICP on the cock. You.
Thank God
so,
for that.
Here's the thing.
They
this was heavily edited. There was like barely an intro, and right after the match was won, they cut right away to the next segment. There was no ICP stuff.
No, not even just the music. They sang them to the ring. They were there.
Yeah. Nope. Not on the cock. They were not singing them to the ring.
Man.
Licensing.
I prefer Eminem's lyrics. Yeah.
Don't repeat the name, okay? All right.
Hero or hate crime. Great episode of It's Always Sunny. Let's move on.
Oh, my God. Now, let's not start on that again. We'll never get back to this. Next, you get Jeff Jarrett with Southern Justice versus X-Pac in a hair versus hair match. On Heat, Jeff Jarrett and Southern Justice buzzed the almighty Howard Finkel's hair. That's that Finkel.
He is
Finkel.
Howard Finkel.
Yeah. Fink accompanies Pac to the ring, and Fink does worse DX chops than Tyson.
Oh, my God.
It was terrible.
It looked like a guy in a nursing home attempting it. It was pretty bad.
Pretty much. That's it. JR points out that the loser gets his head shaved, and that means by any result. At one point teasing X-Pac might get counted out, but he didn't. King says, You can't do this to Jeff Jarrett. You can't cut that beautiful hair. He's a natural blonde. JR goes, How would you know? Can we just be honest? Can we just be honest and say that JR and Lawler were just as important as most of the wrestlers during the Attitude Era?
And that's why everybody calls them the best duo. It's because when everybody calls them the best duo, it's because it's the most heavily watched era in that time, and that's why everybody likes them the most. I think there's other duos that have been just as good, but nah, man, they're the top duo. Gorilla and Heenan is, for me, that's always my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, let's get back to this match here.
Or McMahon and Ventura. Don't tell me, McMahon, I was there.
There you go. That's a pretty good one. So Fink starts John with the ref. Jarrett clocks him. Pretty bad. Fink actually took a good apron bump to the floor. One of the Southern Justice guys distracts the ref. The other goes for a guitar shot on Pac, but he ducks and guillotines him on the rope. Pac has the guitar. He'd shot while the ref distracted, gets the win. The Outlaws come to the ring to run off. Southern Justice and Jarrett, well, not Jarrett, obviously. Draws and the Headbangers come down as well. They've all fallen victim, or maybe the Headbangers are just jealous because they're bald. Slaughter's in the ring, overseeing everything. What I liked about this is Headbangers are holding him. Draws is in his face talking shit. And you can hear Jarrett yelling, Kyoto, what the hell's wrong with you? He hit me with the guitar. I didn't see the guitar. Are you fucking blind? They're just jawing back and forth. It was great. It was better than the actual hair cutting, because wet hair with a pair of clippers that are long, you can't. It's almost impossible. They had to switch over to actually a pair of shears at one point, and then let me just say, the gimmicks aside in this match, these two worked really well together. This was a fucking good match. And then at the end, they're just like, oh, by the way, Method Man's in the crowd. Pretty sweet.
Good to see him there. I did like I absolutely hate when they do a hair versus hair match that the first option isn't a pair of fucking scissors. They're like, no, wait, you got 2 feet of hair and you're soaking wet? Not an issue. We got this under control. It'll shave.
Right.
It never fucking works.
Nope. I don't think ever. Yep, so there was that match. Next, we see Doc Hendricks at the Lion's Den. It's not in the main arena. They have like a companion arena, next to like a smaller venue next door. That's where that was. We hit Cole with The Rock. On Heat, Rock hit Triple H in the back of the knee with the title. And The Rock says to Cole, The Rock is thinking I'm knocking the yellow off your teeth if you keep asking stupid questions. Yeah, kick it back to the jabronis at ringside. Gotta love the fucking Rock. Gotta love him. So, Mero and Jacqueline versus Sable and question mark. The suspense is killing me. I hope it'll last. It didn't. It was Edge. I don't understand. Yes, it's cool. We get to see Edge actually wrestle. We've seen him a couple times on TV, but not really wrestling other than we almost murdered Lothario, but it's a different story altogether.
I liked it. I was happy with it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't bad. It was good
and
to see him
that
wrestle.
is exactly 2-3 weeks ago. And you're like, I have no idea who it is. And I even dropped another hint when I was like, well, Edge was reflecting about his first pay-per-view here in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah, I just thought you went on a rant
25 years ago. I even said it, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's cool.
I wasn't paying attention, probably. That's probably all that was. There's not much to talk about this. Sable hit a top rope Rana on Mero, way to bury him even more. Jackie's in the corner.
Kiss this puss goodbye.
Jackie's in the corner. Edge whips Mero into her. He falls flat back bump, and then she falls head first into his dick. Everybody popped for that. Edge and Sable hit a double team, which actually wasn't bad looking. I mean, Edge did probably most of the work, but Sable pins Mero for the win. There you go.
Where she does basically, she's like laying on her back, and then she throws her legs up in the air. He grabs her and then slams her, so it's basically like a
Alabama
slam right on the person who's laying on the ground. And awesome move. I don't think up to that point, I don't think I'd really seen it, so it was cool.
There you go. Next, you get Cole with Mankind. It's reported that Kane's not going to show up tonight, which obviously means he will. Cole's asking him, are you still going to defend the tag titles? Because if you don't remember, Kane and Mankind are the tag champions. Mankind says he may just forfeit the titles. And he tells Cole, why don't you come and tag with me? Vince stops Mankind, calms him down. He says, you know what? This is MSG. It's history. This is where you belong. I don't know if you can defend the titles on your own, but I'll guarantee you'll be in the MSG Hall of Fame. And he goes, I don't have my sledgehammer. Which he did have earlier, so I don't know. So then Vince is like, oh, no, don't worry. He finds a silver platter and just gives him that. Mankind says, if the Outlaws don't like it, I have 13 words for him. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Oh, god damn. I forgot how much I really like Foley in this era.
Yep. He's great. Next, you get the Lion's Den match. This is the theater at MSG. King at one point goes, Owen wants to be the champ of this structure, whatever you call it. JR goes, how about the Lion's Den? Fucking clown.
Thanks, Dick.
Owen locks on a sharpshooter. Shamrock climbs up the cage while he's in the hold to break it. That was a badass spot.
Loved that move.
Yep.
Loved it 25 years ago. Loved it on this one.
That was fucking great. And then he does like a run up the cage, backflips into an armbar, and then right into an ankle lock. Severn was going to throw in the towel, and he just walks away. Owen submits. This was solid. This was solid.
Fantastic match.
Shamrock was doing the jumps off the side of the cage to hit a strike. Now this was a
parkour.
Hardcore.
I think, no lie, we were like, nothing's topping that tonight, man. I don't think anything's going to get better. But the show gets better.
But, yeah. So, you get Cole backstage with Austin, basically saying Austin respects Taker more than anybody in the locker room, but enough being sappy DTA. Next, you get Mankind versus the Outlaws for the tag titles. It's a no-holds-barred falls count anywhere. The dumpster is back at ringside. It looks like they went with a budget one. This one's a little smaller. It's a spike pile driver by the Outlaws for the win. They maintain control most. Mankind had a few hope spots, but never was really able to break through. They drag Mankind out of the ring, throw him in the dumpster. Outlaws are in the ring celebrating, and then Kane pops out of the dumpster. Because wrestling.
And takes the sledgehammer and just, apparently, we can only assume what it is, bludgeons him in the head.
In the heat.
And they're just like, suck it. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you didn't expect Kane to show up. Obviously, duh, he was going to as soon as they said he wasn't going to be there.
Yeah, but he straight just drove that pile driver down full force. And then it was funny because he had trouble rolling it up the ramp. He apparently hasn't used that kind of dumpster before. He goes, I got to push it from the other end. Shit.
Usually when I kill people and put them in a dumpster, I actually have one that has like all-wheel drive. This one actually, I have a wonky wheel. It has the Forrest Whitaker eye of a wheel.
Yep, the wonky wheel. We've all experienced that. So the DX band, the band that sings the DX theme, I don't know their fucking name. They start coming out to the ring. They have wireless packs and the drums are set up in the ring. The sound on this was fucking terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, they went 0 for 1 at WrestleMania. Let's go 0 for 2. Why not? It's fucking. Yep. They must have had a contract.
At one point, Triple H just screams D-Generation X in that part of the song. He's got the singer on his shoulders, and at the end, Triple H and the drummer destroy the drum set.
Is it me, or does it not look like the lead singer is Seth Green?
Maybe.
Looks like a
little bit
singing version of Seth. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I think he's too tall to be Seth Green. Maybe that's why I'm thrown off. But yeah,
well,
maybe I see Seth Green in one of those
is too
hats.
tall to be Seth Green.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. This might be match of the night right here. It's Triple H.
It is, and
versus,
this is the.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I hate to say, this is the sit back and watch match. This is The Rock and Triple H in a fantastic ladder match. And I think one of the only times we get a yellow ladder.
Yeah, it was very out of place. Yeah, and here's the thing too, man. They didn't fucking even get the ladders in until maybe like 5 minutes in. Like they waited.
It was a wrestling match for the first couple, which is cool.
Yep, they took their time. Mark Henry's there. He does the tongue wag at Chyna, blows her a kiss. Another thing that I liked about this is the title wasn't already there. They put it on the fucking ring and then raised it up. I like that.
I agree. I think the champion should at least bring his fucking title to the ring.
Exactly.
Even if it's his last moments with it. Got to get rid of it, hours before the pay-per-view?
Yep. There you go. So, yeah, that's what I said. So why don't they didn't do that anymore? But, they fight off to the entrance ramp longer than usual before the ladder is in the ring. Like I said, Rock's working the knee that he injured earlier on Heat. Triple H sliding drop kicks the ladder into Rock's face, busts him open. Rock hits up people's elbow while Triple H is lying on the ladder. Triple H took most of the punishment and most of the ladder spots in this match. There's no fucking doubt about that. At one point, it actually seemed like the fans were cheering for Rocky. I don't know if my sound was fucked up, but yeah, they were starting to turn.
Nope. The crowd was pretty, not split, but it was a live New York City crowd, man, and they were vocal for both. And it was, the match was great.
Yeah, it was good. Triple H hits a pedigree. As he's getting up, Henry throws powder in his eyes. They both go up the ladder. Chyna crotches Rock off. Triple H gets the title. Fucking massive pop. DX comes to the ring to celebrate. Yeah, again, what else can I tell you? This was a fucking fantastic match. They put each other through hell. It wasn't too over the top, and they didn't rely on high spots. It was just good back and forth.
And I mean this in a real serious way. Man, poor Austin and Taker. They had to follow a pretty hard match because that was a good match.
Right.
And, if you remember SummerSlam 97, 1 year prior, it went Intercontinental title match to World title match. And that year prior was when Austin had a broken neck from Owen Hart. Then we go Taker versus Bret Hart.
Right.
We just went from a real solid match, and now it's like, oh, shit, we really have to deliver in this match.
No shit.
And I think they do.
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely. So there was exclusive home video footage. It was The Rock being escorted to the back by the doctor, and it was funny. You could hear a producer in the back calling for Taker, basically to get him in a gorilla. They go into the dressing room. He tells the doc to get the hell out of there, doesn't need his help, and he just cuts a nice promo on Triple H, still putting himself over as the greatest IC title holder ever and the people's champion. So not a bad little segment. It still kind of gives the people what they want to see, which is The Rock, obviously, oddly enough. So we go to our main event. It is for the world title. It is Austin versus Undertaker. I did not realize in all my years of watching documentaries and stuff that this is the match, the famous spot where Taker's bent over and he whips up real quick and just clocks Austin right in the jaw. Just about knocked Austin off. You could see, or knocked him out. You could see for the following few minutes that Austin still wasn't fully there. He was, kind of stumbling a little bit. He definitely looked out of it. But yeah, Austin tells the story. Taker comes up, clocks him on the jaw, falls on his back, and he looks up at Hebner. He's like, "What the hell's going on?" He's like, "You're in the garden, son. Get up." So, but yeah, I didn't realize that was.
Where am I?
Yeah,
I don't know you.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was the match. So, at one point, Kane comes to the ring. Taker waves Kane off. He just goes to the back. Taker hits. This might be the best chokeslam I've ever seen Taker hit. Austin's on the apron. Taker's in the ring. He reaches over, puts his hand on his throat, lifts him up over the top rope, and carries him to the middle of the ring and power slams him. It was fantastic looking. The crowd was fucking hot for this one too. You would think maybe they, wore themselves out in the last match. No way.
That's what I mean. I'm like, how do you follow up? It was 2 back-to-back classic matches.
100%.
One was just better than the other, between 2 young up-and-comers.
Right.
Maybe we've seen a lot of Taker and Austin already at this point for me. But, I mean, this was solid, and the crowd was split 50-50.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah. This is there's another famous spot in this match. This is where Austin's on the announce table. Taker goes to the top rope and hits the leg drop. The table doesn't really break. They kind of just slide off of it.
Yeah, they kind of just The top is like, I'll fall. Everything else is going to stay here.
It still looked nasty. One thing that I noticed about this is, so they at the entrance ramp they have the gates, like it's supposed to be like the cemetery gates or the gates from hell, right? Red backlighting. All night you see producers and staff, and stage members are just running back and forth. You can
running
see them.
by it.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm not even Vince, and that pisses me off.
I know, right? A bunch of people got fired. Austin. So earlier in the match, Taker went for an old school attempt. Austin reversed it. This time he goes for it again. Austin crotches him and hits the stunner to retain. Taker grabs the title. He looks at it. He hands it to Austin, gives him a nod, and bounces. Kane joins Taker on the ramp, and they head to the back. I think this was a good feud, a short term, even though it was, because it was really predicated all on their mutual respect for each other, but we're still going to kick each other's asses. I liked it.
And to me, it's a prelude to mid-99.
Yep, 100%.
Because they're going to go at it again.
Yep.
But also, my version went, and where it gave you an entire recap of the night. And the last thing is where Taker's handing Austin the title. On the highway to bam. Done
with that.
Thank God. That's it.
I hope they play.
You know what's great?
On a recap.
There isn't even a Raw the next day, so I don't even have to worry about a fucking recap of Highway to Hell. Let's go to Nitro.
Let's go to Nitro. How do you think the show starts off? Just like it does every week, Hogan and Bischoff come to the ring. Bischoff says, hey, I want you guys to know, I let the police know I'm packing tonight. I got a concealed weapon. It's the most powerful weapon in the world. It's a pen. Great. Eddie, you will wrestle tonight. Warrior, you won't. Hogan puts over Stevie Ray, says he's going to prove his loyalty at War Games. So Stevie Ray will be on the black and white team. And Bret Hart will be the third man. We get Goldberg chants. Hogan says, Warrior, why don't you get your ass out here? The lights immediately flicker. Warrior comes to the ring, and when the lights flicker, when the lights come back up, we see that black and white are surrounding the ring with Warrior in the middle of the ring. Lights go out. Warrior says, speak to me, Warriors. And the lights come on. There's fog in the ring, and the Warrior's gone. Yes, that too. Snarls. I think I have noted 3 signs for this episode. The first one, La Parka is Mike Tenay. I popped for that one.
That's a really good sign.
It is a good sign. Jim Powers versus Wraith. Wraith wins the squash. Gene, we have another Nitro Grand Prize winner. This time it's at a high school. Yeah, they want to see the Nitro girls. Well, duh. They got Jim Duggan with them, so that must have been a fucking.
Gene's like, but y'all got to get fucked up and drink like we do at the college parties.
Gene does not let us down. He does have a great moment. We'll get there when we get there. Happy to see Norman Smiley on TV again. He's facing Squash Norton, unfortunately. Norton's like, I ain't got time for this. He power walks to the ring. He keeps breaking the count to inflict more punishment. It lives up to his name again, Squash. Lights flicker, go out, and we see Warrior in the rafters. Who does this motherfucker think he is, Sting?
You really would think with this squash record of Norton that he'd be the next guy to have a major feud. Not even just like a squash match against Goldberg, as I'm sure it's going to be.
Right. We get a pre-taped interview with Tenay and Lodi and Saturn. So basically something happened on Thunder where Saturn is now Lodi's bitch until Fall Brawl. Saturn cuts this basically promo saying, hey man, I was an Army Ranger. I have my respect. I have my dignity. I don't like him, but I'm going to live up to my word. I'm not going to be raped of my dignity.
Okay.
Just like in that Whitney Houston song, right? Because the greatest. Love all. No.
Love all.
Wolfpac to the ring with no Sting. Luger has a goatee. That's fucking hilarious. That was worth a laugh. Yeah. Luger says Sting is coming to the arena. He'll be here tonight. Where Luger and Sting are going to face Hogan and Hart. Nash says War Games is going to be Sting, Luger, and Nash, and that DDP has till next Monday to decide on which way he's going to go. Piper, next time you stick your nose in our business, you're going to pay the price. tells Warrior he heard a story of an ancient warrior that walked alone, fell asleep under a tree, woke up, and 4 wolves were looking at him, yada, yada, yada. Wolfpac.
And O.D.M.s.
Olale.
Conan!
Shivani's in the ring with J.J. Dillon. Dillon calls Arn Anderson to the ring, wants to have a one-on-one conversation with a close friend. Dillon says he found an old tape. He shows it on the Tron. It's an Arn Anderson promo from back in the day when he was young. It was on the beach, talking about lots of talents wanting to go to Mid-Atlantic territory. Just kind of promo on them, mentioning Steamboat, Magnum TA, and Dusty as a few. Dillon says it's over 15 years old, so do the math. Figure out back when that was. So Benoit and Mongo come out to the ring. You see Benoit's left arm is like in a weird, like old school metal brace. What do they call D? Her high school name with the back thing? The Machine? Or the Metal Machine?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what his arm looked like. It was very Terminator-esque. They have a little 3-man powwow off mic for the Horsemen, the 3 Horsemen. We want Flair chance, so obviously this is getting what you want out of it. Arn Anderson goes to leave. Dillon stops him and says, "Hey, I was there for you 15 years ago. WCW and we need you now." And Arn says, "Why are you doing this to me?" Dillon says, "I think you're afraid of all this." And apparently he is, because Arn just leaves.
Pulls his Glock out, shoots him.
Blow, blow.
Help.
Hour 2, you get Bryan Adams versus Eddie. Warriors in the rafters. There's a sign. Second one. "Shut up and sit down, fat boy."
That boy must have been in the crowd talking a lot of shit that night.
Eddie's not happy to be there, obviously, and he just lays down. Was Russo already here at that point? Jesus fucking Christ. He wasn't, but Eddie doesn't fight back. He just covers up. Adams eventually does the 1-foot pin, and that's it. Eddie does a promo on Bischoff, but they cut the mic halfway through it, so... next, you get the Cat versus Riggs. Apparently, Cat turned heel on Thunder on Disco Doucher. The Cat wins. This no promo after. I'm sorry, he does a promo after. He says, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." And then it's funny because after the sign that we just saw, the Cat goes, "Hey, fat boy, sit down." So I don't know if he saw the sign or...
Are you sure he wasn't holding it before that?
Yeah, I don't know. And he basically says, "Nobody here who can stop me." There you go. So we're going to start seeing a lot more of the Cat on the mid-card here. We go back to the high school. Gene says something to Kimberly about DDP. Oh, yeah. And then right next to him is a fan that's dressed as Sting with the red face paint. And as soon as Kimberly leans in, this kid, tries to lean right into her tits. Like, he literally just like, yup. And Gene goes, "Hey, what?" Gene just goes to him and goes, "Hey, what's your deal, pal?" "I'm the Stinger." "Sure you are. We believe anything."
I'm the rapist. I'm the Stinger.
It was great. Next, you get Conan versus Marty fucking Jannetty. Jannetty actually got some offense in. It was a match. It was a match. So
I'm pretty sure we saw this on Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
He had a decent thing, and then he beat the fuck out of a hooker. Oh, no, wait. That was 2005.
No. Next, you get Saturn with the flock. Conan with the flock now. No, not Conan. Canyon. Chicken nuggets when I was typing this. Canyon is with the flock now. Maybe that happened on Thunder, because I don't think that was a thing last week. But whatever. This whole fucking flock thing has been a shit show from the get-go. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Raven tells Canyon to break Saturn. He says, "So you got pride and integrity, but Raven and I don't. Hit me." And he just screams, "Hit me," for about 5 minutes. And Raven says, "Oh, you won't do it, will you, Saturn? Well, see how much integrity you have with Lodi as your tag partner." So we get Saturn and Lodi versus High Voltage. Saturn says, "I'll start. I'd like to win." He actually says that to Lodi. Lodi says no. Lodi starts. He takes one bump, tags Saturn in. Saturn does all the work. Saturn tags him in just so he can get the pin. That's it.
Yep.
Oh, boy. God, these fucking Nitro shows, man. We get Shivani in the ring with Diamond Dallas Page. DDP calls Shivani T-Bone. I don't
I'm
know
not
if you
sure that
remember-
one's going to stick, but all right.
I don't know if you are familiar with that Seinfeld episode.
Oh, I am. Yes.
I actually looked it up just to see. So we're in August of 98. That episode came out in April of 98.
Okay, so he's been sitting on that one. He's been
Yeah,
waiting.
he's definitely
So I
been
can't wait
sitting
to
on
use
it.
this one.
Yeah. DDP goes on this long-winded rant about congratulating the New Jersey team that won the Little League World Series, DDP being from New Jersey. They won as a cohesive unit. He compares Team WCW to that. He calls out Piper. The camera crew decided to give us 5 seconds to 10 seconds of two nice young ladies in low-cut white shirts. Okay, maybe Gene was on camera.
Wait, so what button? What does this one do again?
So Piper starts talking about being told that Brett is his cousin. Brett comes to him and, hey, my dad says we're cousins. I don't know anything about you. Talks about Brett's first big league match. He said his skin was as white as baby powder. He had purple trunks and boots. He was halfway between Barney and a Power Ranger.
Okay, very topical. Number 1, for the time being.
Always is.
Number 2, really? Do we have to go this road?
Yeah. I saw another sign. This is our third sign that I've documented so far for this show alone. Sign is, who are you kidding? That's a skirt.
Poor Piper.
Giant comes to the ring, beats them both down. Security comes and officials, they cuff Giant. And Giant looks at the camera and goes, hey, Easy E, come and get me out of jail, baby. And then Heenan goes, Tanae, you got any cigarettes on you? Tanae starts talking, and Heenan's like, hey, do you got any cigarettes on you?
He needs one before he gets in the car. Let me hook him up. That's my husband.
great.
Let him have a cigarette.
It was so great. Hour 3, we get Scott Steiner to the ring with the doctor.
Feels like hour 8.
I'm not talking about this. Do you want to talk about this at all? Because I'm not.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Next, you get Hoovy versus Evan Courageous, spelled Karagias. Cruiserweight title match. Hoovy wins. This looks like it was a tryout for Courageous. Gene's back at the high school. They show that one of the coaches who submitted their entry. I got nothing.
Just sounds fucked up. All I can see is him walking around with his mustache and bald head.
Gene
Anybody
back
want
at
to do an
the-
interview?
Gene is back at that high school.
Gene is back on the sex offender registry list.
The fucked up thing is the coach that submitted it looks exactly like Draws. I thought it was Draws for a second. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing in WCW? Yeah, it was weird. Very weird. Next, you get Jericho versus Disco
Puking on
Dingleberry.
girls.
Jericho wins. What?
Nothing.
Okay, fair enough. Nash joins commentary for the Goldberg match. Goldberg's facing Al Green. No, not that Al Green. I never realized how much Goldberg...
Love and happiness.
What's going
Gonna
on?
get my ass
What's
speared
going
by
on is a good
Goldberg.
one, too, you know, but that's fine. Yeah, it was a squash. I never
Wait,
realized
you
how
say
much...
what's going on?
Yeah, that's Marvin Gaye.
It's Marvin Gaye.
That's what I just said, dick nuts.
You said Al Green.
And then right before you said who is it? I said it's Marvin Gaye. Go back, check the tape.
You're Marvin Gaye.
You're Boo! It's been a while. Let's wrap this shit up, B. Hogan
Please?
and Bret Hart versus Luger and Sting. Hart tags Hogan when he wasn't looking. Hogan not too happy. Hogan actually does a lot of work in this match, and they had a lot. They gave this a lot of time. I'm actually really surprised. Sting's the hot tag. Sting, it looks like Disciple fucked up. Disciple was supposed to pull Hogan out of the corner, so Sting had to set up the splash like for a third time. They did the spot. Sting misses the splash. Hogan uses the weight belt on Sting. Hart stops him, takes the belt. Hart starts heading to the back. Hogan stops him. They argue. And Hart said something that commentary pointed out after is, "You gave me your word." Black and white get counted out. Hart and Hogan square off in the ring. The Disciple tries to break it up. The fog starts to billow into the ring, and then it just stops. And then the rest of the black and white come to the ring. Fog starts again. The lights out. Warriors in the ring. Lights go down. Black and white are down. Hogan's cowering in the corner. Warrior tells Hogan he can get up now. We can smell your fear. Hogan just powders, and we're out of time. We'll see you on Thunder.
Two things are going through Bret's head while doing all of this. You stand next to Hogan and be like, it's the motherfucker that took my belt 10 seconds after I lost it to Yoko.
Yep.
Second thing that's going through his head is, I should have just took the fucking lesser paid WWE. This sucks. Oh my God, Warrior's here now. This can't get any better.
Yep. Oh, it doesn't.
I feel bad for Bret while watching all this shit. I swear to God.
You know, Bret loves to paint himself as the the victim. So.
Oh yeah, so he did a good job at it in WWE and now WCW. Maybe he's gonna blame The Rock one day when he hits that bike and strokes out.
Maybe he'll.
Let's go to our top topic.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for...
I was just thinking, I'm like, usually every time I'm, ready to do top topic, my first words are, I am so excited to talk about this. I'm not really excited to talk about this top topic. I gotta be honest with you, man.
No.
This was, at first, and I mean this in no shitty or disrespectful way, and I'm going to preface, I've never really been a huge follower of Terry Funk's work. I've seen a lot of his stuff, but it's not like I went out of my way and he was in my top anything. And I mean that just respectfully. So I was like, yeah, no, we're definitely going to talk about him in the news. But the dude also, the more I did some research and thinking about it, I'm like, man, the guy was beyond a fucking legend, pioneer in so many ways. But then losing 36-year-old Bray Wyatt, and I was like, all right, this one sucks. This one stings. This is at the level of Brody Lee for us, for me personally, I don't think there's a promo or match I missed of Bray since the day he got into, or at least called up to WWE. I saw a good amount of his NXT stuff, but I say let's begin at least, talking some of our favorite, moments, some accolades. Let's chat it up about both the guys that are unfortunately no longer with us, which sucks, especially for one still being on a roster. But Terry Funk, 79, I believe.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they have a video not too long ago where Foley visited him, not
they
like
had
a nursing
barbecue
home
together.
or something like that?
Yep. 100%. Yeah, and I don't know because I know that Funk was in an assisted living home for a while. But I think right before he passed, he did go back home. So I'm not sure if that video was taken right when he got home or if that was at the assisted living place. And it wasn't really easy to tell, in that shot. But it was nice to see how close those two are. Definitely, it's just one of those things that it's good to see. So it probably makes it harder for people like that. But, I'm with you, man. It's harder because Bray, we've been so exposed to. We've been watching in our lifetime, actively, with Terry, his career is so long that we know so little. I've got a bunch of random facts, some of the stuff that I know off the top of my head, some of the stuff that I had to look up, some of I was semi-familiar with, and I'm going to leave so much out. I'll break it down like this. I think this is the easiest way to say it is, we did our Mount Rushmore of wrestling, right? And we had some pretty standard answers. I never really thought to put Terry Funk on that Mount Rushmore. If somebody came to me and said that Terry Funk was on their Mount Rushmore, I wouldn't blink.
Yeah, no, you look at it now, you're like, not like you put him in there, but more of like, it like your own personal, but more of like a, shit, I should reconsider this. I didn't realize, like I said, the word pioneer, man. The guy was a part of some very iconic moments and was a huge part of history for, what, like 30, 40 years in wrestling?
He got into wrestling, I think, in the late 60s.
So 50 years of wrestling?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, retired 8 times, 10 times, something like that, Here's the thing. Again, we've got the professor here. The professor is the professor for a reason, but even he only, can intake so much knowledge. And I obviously am no wrestling historian myself. If you want to know the full story of Terry Funk, listen to Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru episode 306. They do about an hour on him. Personal stories from the business, stuff that everybody's aware of. Very informative. I highly suggest you go listen to that. But yeah, so in 75, Terry won his only NWA title. He defeated Jack Briscoe. He had a 14-month reign. He defended the title against Jack Briscoe, Dusty Rhodes, Giant Baba, Pat O'Connor. He defended the title not just in the States, but in Australia, Japan, and Singapore. Everybody knows he was huge in Japan. He lost the title in Toronto to Harley Race. Yep, there you go. So, did you know that Terry Funk was in WWF from 85 to 86?
No, not until I did some research today. I was like, no shit.
Yeah. So I saw one of the videos that I saw, and that's a great thing. I've been seeing a lot of videos of just some of his old stuff. He debuted on Championship Wrestling, which is their WWF's first TV show, like their first weekly show. And he's in the corner, and he's taking off all his gear, and the ring announcer's taking it all. And he takes the hat, and he puts the cowboy hat on. Funk sees this and fucking drags him into the ring and just beats the shit out of him. It was great. During that time, he had some. He had a promo. He had like a feud with Junkyard Dog and Hogan. Both not too bad. You probably all remember him in ECW at Hardcore Heaven '94. Fought Cactus Jack. It ended in a no contest when Pubic Enema showed up, and the crowd literally buried Pubic Enema with chairs, just chucking. It was like Brian Galata was there.
Andrew Galata.
Was it Andrew?
The boxer?
Yeah.
Andrew Galata.
Really? Why?
And it's funny because that's a very infamous spot, too, because when the chairs are going, you see Terry just fall, like his face first.
Well, at that point, the ring was so flooded, you couldn't stand anymore. Yeah. He was also, you all probably remember he had a big ECW stint. He was barely legal, 97. That's where he won the ECW World Heavyweight Championship from Raven. So in 1995, he had his match with Cactus Jack, at the International Wrestling Association of Japan. This was the no ropes, barbed wire boards and exploding ring time bomb death match.
This was a death match tournament.
Yeah. Yes.
And they were the finals.
They were the finals. Yeah. That's the
I've watched it.
Yeah. I've watched it too. Yeah. That's the one famously where Mick Foley's flying home with his dad, and the stewardess comes up to him like, "Sir, you can't smoke." He's like, "I'm not." His arm was still fucking. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. So
my body.
So he also Funk also had an exploding death match, time bomb death match against Onita in FMW.
Yep.
And that was
94,
93. It was 2 years before.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
my bad.
93. And this is where basically what happened was, Onita broke into the American wrestling scene and followed Funk. He became close with Funk. So this was kind of a dream match for them. Onita went over, and there was still about 30 seconds or so before the ring was going to explode. So Onita leaves, and then he realized Funk ain't going anywhere. So he wants to go save his hero. So he rolls in. He starts slapping him in the face, grabbing him by the hair, realizes he can't get him out, and he covers him, and there's the fucking explosions, which looked great, by the way. Looked fantastic. This is where Kingston got his idea to cover Moxley, even though it was just a bunch of streamers that popped out.
But I had a flashback. I was in Sing Sing. Sorry, that has nothing to do with Terry Funk.
Yeah, Funk. So Funk actually joined WCW in '89. He feuded with Flair. Had a bunch of title matches with him. I think they were feud of the year that year, if I'm not mistaken. Flair would refuse the initial match. Funk attacked him, pile driving him on a table. You've probably seen that clip before. Table doesn't give. Looked nasty. They had an I Quit match. Funk did quit. Got a 5-star rating from Meltzer. That's probably more relevant back then than it is now. But And then there was a part
And
of
it actually is. It's a fantastic match from Clash of the Champions 9.
Yeah, part of their feud was Funk used an actual plastic shopping bag to suffocate Flair. Crazy. But one of my favorite things, I just saw a video of this. So that pile driver put Flair out of action. They came back. They had the match. But after the match, Flair was attacked by Gary Hart and the Great Muta, and Sting came and made the save. And Sting had Hart in the Deathlock, and Flair put Muta in the figure 4. Man, good times right there.
Yep.
Another weird thing about this, and this is weird because Cornette didn't mention it. When I was doing research, I didn't find anything supporting this, but in 1997, he in Amarillo, Texas, where his hometown was, his house was the Double Cross Ranch. Gotta love that.
Great name.
Held a show called Terry Funk's WrestleFest. It was supposed to be like a tribute of all the Funks, his father, his brother, himself. And Terry, so in the research is, in Cornette, they say Terry lost to Bret Hart, but I'm pretty sure when you watch Beyond the Mat, they show that, and that's when Terry gets his friend to be the ref, and the ref botches the count, and Terry wins the title. Like, they didn't announce him as the champion, but they said he was. So I don't know if that's just one of those things where he didn't lose. You know what I'm saying? So,
but it was a retirement match, and then he unretired 12 days later.
Yeah, and he had already retired 2 times by then, I think.
He was the Rolling Stones of wrestling.
Pretty much. Everybody remembers his role in the Hell in a Cell with Mankind. Iconic. He was in
Chainsaw Charlie.
We can't forget that. He actually put out some music albums, and he was in Roadhouse.
And Over the Top.
That's right. Yeah,
He
was in a bunch of shit, man.
Guards or henchmen for what's his name? Robert Lozier.
I don't remember.
No, who's the guy? Robert Lozier. That's right.
Robert Lozier.
Him.
Yeah.
He has his henchmen. That's one of them. Fucking Stallone puts Terry Funk, I think, through a window of a big giant window of a door or some shit like that. It's awesome.
Right.
Man, he's the absolute original, to me, U.S. hardcore wrestling guy. You know, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say original hardcore because you got your Oneida and all those guys who, you know, in their own right in Japan. I did throw together 10 matches, absolutely no order whatsoever, but a couple of them, you know, just barely legal 97, their very first ECW pay-per-view.
Yep.
He wrestled twice that night. Not only did he defeat Sandman and Stevie Richards in a 3-way, that brought him to the main event match where he would face Raven. And that's where he wins the World Championship for ECW, which is kind of cool. Him versus Sabu versus Shane Douglas. At the night they crossed the line in ECW, they went to a 60-minute draw in a 3-way match. Fantastic for a guy his age. We just recently watched, in May of 98, him versus, well, you could probably call it Mankind or Cactus Jack, but maybe Mick Foley. It's when Foley versus Funk on Raw, and Vince is like, you want that title shot? Show me what you got. And they had a hell of a fucking beating with each other on Raw in 98. He actually tagged with Great Muta against Ric Flair and Sting at Halloween Havoc 89 in the Thunderdome, where the special referee, Bruno Sammartino.
I think I remember watching that.
Yeah, dude. Star-studded match right there with everybody all the way into the ref. Jesus. As we already said, the retirement match with Bret Hart and the IWA Finals in 95 against Foley, with the Oneida match in 93. But the two that are the most important to me, honestly, Ric Flair, the I Quit match at Clash of the Champions 9, which that's all coming off of, he just got done having his trilogy with Steamboat.
Yep.
And then, bam, here comes Funk. I mean, like, that night. So, fantastic how it was all done. But the other match that is not as well talked about, but it's very, very popular, if you will, with, like, your real wrestling smart people. I'm not saying your marks, you know what I mean? Like the ones who just
Purists.
know the popular, right. Slamboree 94 versus Tully Blanchard. A fantastic match. I actually watched that one maybe a year ago, maybe a year or two ago. I threw that whole pay-per-view on, and I remember watching it. Great match. Not to be, funny, man. Funk University officially closed.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. It's a legend. It said that he had to go, his health declining through the last several years. Not exactly a good thing for anybody to have to go through, but a legend, genuine Hall of Famer, pioneer, as I said earlier, man. That's the best thing I could really say when I'm thinking about Terry Funk.
100%.
Okay, now let me get some tissues out here. Look, man, I'm not even being funny. This one really got me. Like I said, I put this on the Owen level, the Brody Lee level, even Eddie, where I'm like, and not just because they're on my rosters I'm watching right now live. I'm like, what? Bray is 3.5 years younger than me. Are you shitting me? He shouldn't be dead. All right, let me ask you a question. All right, before we get into his, kind of how you just broke down Funk, I'm gonna break down Bray. Can I just mainly get to one quick point and ask you a question? What are your thoughts on his death? In terms of the he had a existing heart disease.
Correct.
Yes. Do you think, just I'm not trying to be Mr. Conspiracy Theorist, okay? But over the last couple of years, look at fucking DeMar Hamlin, right? You have to be vaxxed to play in the NFL. You have to be vaxxed
I know where
to
you're
do
going
certain
with this,
things.
yeah.
And I'm not trying to go down that road in a certain way, but I'm like, if you had a pre-existing or condition or whatever, that Vince probably made it. Yeah, you have to fucking be vaxxed to work here, because they even did PSA commercials, if you remember, back in 2020. Get vaxxed, save a life. Get vaxxed. They did 1 billion of them. Where are your thoughts on all that? Do you think that it yay or nay on that?
I think it's a horseshit argument, or even thing to think about. First and foremost, he did catch COVID, which likely had an impact on it. Whether or not the vaccine had it, I don't think it can be part of a bigger discussion or a narrative. Everything's a case-by-case basis. We're not scientists. We don't know scientific data. I am not taking a side on this. I think it's somebody else.
And I'm not trying to either. I'm saying,
no, that's fine. I'm not gonna. I'm not. Somebody else asked me a question and said, I wonder if it had to do with that. And it's like, I'm not even going to entertain that discussion, because and I've seen it with other people that I'm close with have had it. It's easy for you to go right there, even if you're going to say, oh, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. And then, if you don't know, then, why even entertain the possibility? Because it may be baseless. You don't know. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Everything's a case-by-case basis. So, I'm not...
It 100% is. But then again, why I bring it up was more of what you're seeing already, right? It's the...
again, correlation, not causation. It's just you're happening to see it. Everything is more in your face. These stories, people love this. They glorify shit like this. It's fucking porn for people. So, of course you're going to see a lot more of it. It draws ratings. So I don't think...
I like porn.
I don't think there's anything to look into there. Unfortunately, I just got an update from Twitter right as before we got into Bray. It appears the heart attack that he suffered was in his sleep. So I don't know that's worth sharing or not, but I just came up, so I figured I'd throw it out there. So I don't know if that's better.
To be honest with you, if you're going to go, would you want to be alert and awake, or would you
Grumpy
rather
old
be
man.
asleep? Me personally, yeah, 100%. So
lucky bastard.
Honestly, this one, and I didn't mean to bring that to a conspiracy, political, anything like that. Just wanted to get your opinion on what you maybe thought about it. But it sucks because he's fucking so young, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's not like Eddie Guerrero, who had years of substance abuse, and his heart was just like, yo, I'm sorry, I got to peace out now. I did everything I could. Thank God he got better for a little bit, but I still can't take it. Bray's not down that road. And yeah, he was a husky guy, no pun intended, with Husky Harris, but not to 36 years old. That's kind of how so I'm like, it just sucks. Such a young age. He was in WWE from 2010 to 2021, came back in 2022 in October, and until, obviously, his death. So many goddamn things I could really, like I actually wrote in my notes, I'm like, it's gonna be so fucking hard to even be funny this week, like, or have fun, because I'm like, this is so somber. This one pisses me off, like, just because last thing we actually saw was that pitch black match, right? And I'm like, when he came back in October 2022, you and I were like, all right, what's the gimmick gonna be? How's he going with us? We were excited, man. We loved Bray. When you first got back started in 2014, 2015, well, that's just when they were getting there too. And the Wyatt family showed up onto Raw in that 2015 era, or 2014 era, I'm sorry, in the summer of 2014. Before that, he was a part of the New Nexus as Husky Harris.
Right.
Even had a cool little interaction with Michelle McCool, which was kind of funny that, you know, years later he's Bray Wyatt and feuding with Taker. Kind of a little funny part to that. Man, when they were called up, it was just, you know, now I'm sorry, I got it wrong. It was the summer of 2013. I apologize. Summer of 2013 is when they got called up from NXT, and just fucking killer promos. First feud is with Kane, which is great. You know, smart guy to have. You know, you have to have a monster you have to kill. And the promos were fantastic. I played that one for you, my favorite one, where my daddy's boat caught on fire, and he went down with it. And, you know, he sounds like Counselor from Cape Fear. You know, yeah, you know, I mean, and he played the part so well. And follow the buzzards, and we're here. Everywhere you're at. Rochester, we're here. And fucking crowd ate it up. To the point that at the end of 2013, both the Shield and the Wyatts are so hot. And Wyatt is trying to bring Daniel Bryan into the mix, trying to make him a part of his Wyatt family, because you lost the title, Orton took it from you, follow the buzzards, I'll take care of you, all that shit. And finally, in the UK, which is so crazy, when they're, I believe, at the O2 Arena or somewhere around there, it was a match with Punk and Bryan versus, I think, it was Rowan and Harper. But then the Shield breaks out, and so does the Wyatt family, and they start fighting against each other, and Punk and Bryan are standing on the outside. My favorite part is Bray looking at everybody and going, we have a common enemy. Like, looking at them, and they're trying to surround them. And it was like, to me, I was like, oh, if Punk didn't leave, the millions of ways they could have went with that always bothered me. And then they tore the house down. Royal Rumble 2014, when we all thought Daniel Bryan was going to join that Royal Rumble, and he didn't. You know, when Punk was tossed out. Yep. Early in the night, him and Bray Wyatt, they had a great opening contest there at Royal Rumble 2014, but the biggest one was Elimination Chamber 2014. Probably my favorite Bray Wyatt match of all time. It's the 6-man, the Shield versus the Wyatt family. I always thought they should have saved this for WrestleMania because it was so great. And the Wyatt family went over, and it ended with Wyatt giving his sister Abigail to Roman and pinning him. And the Wyatt family went over in a match where a lot of people thought Shield were going to go over because they were the dominant crew at that time. Wyatt, I remember watching it in Salvatore's and Rondaquate. We all lost our shit when they won that match because we were like, oh my God, I didn't think they were actually getting this one. It was so good. And then he goes to feud with John Cena with the trilogy that he has, you know, multiple matches, cage match. But the one that killed me is that he was halted right in his tracks at WrestleMania 30. He was as hot as he could be, you know, white hot as they say, and loses to Cena on the biggest stage at WrestleMania 30. Jesus. And it sucks because, to me, I think that's one of the biggest things that killed Bray Wyatt's momentum of all time was losing to Cena. And I'm not sure if it was Cena pulling the card or if it was Vince like, no, he definitely needs to go over. But it sucks because not only did he do that, then he went back-to-back. He lost to Taker the next year. And Taker is just coming off of the Brock Lesnar lost, so you knew Bray was likely not going to have this match in hand anyway. But he did have the anyone but you, Roman. I love that. Anybody but you, Roman. Anybody can have the championship but you, Roman. It was trying to derail him from becoming a world champion, which, great feud. God, WrestleMania 32. The Rock comes out, sets aflame The Rock on the big torch or whatever the fuck he uses at Dallas, says that there's 144 million people inside the stadium, and then Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family come out. Not Luke Harper, because he was injured at the time, but you got Braun Strowman, you got Eric Rowan, and Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt's having a face-to-face promo with The Rock. I'm like, this guy's going to the fucking moon, man. Like, it's just, every time you look at it, you're like, they can't drop a ball with this guy. You don't really think they can. And then the following year, Jesus, the dude ends up winning. Well, actually, he ends up feuding with Dean Ambrose for the better part of that latter year in 2016. But in 2017, no way did I have at the Elimination Chamber, even after Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble match, I did not have Bray Wyatt taking AJ Styles' championship away from him in Elimination Chamber. But god damn, if he... Oh, wow. You want to talk about a mark-out moment where I was jumping up and down? I was like, they gave it to him. The following month, you have Orton and Harper, where they drop the ball again. They should have just put Harper into the match and made it a triple threat. But they ended up doing the worms and all that stupid shit, and Orton took the title at WrestleMania 33.
Terrible.
Very big letdown. But then, he actually semi-reforms the Wyatt family, getting the Bludgeon Brothers back together, kind of getting the crew back together, and going after Orton. He has that match where they had the house on fire and all that weird cinematic shit long before the pandemic. And then he ends up joining forces after feuding with Broken Matt Hardy. He ends up joining forces with Matt Hardy. And not only does he help Matt win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 34's kickoff show, they end up becoming tag team champions together, which is kind of cool. But then it was like, wow, you guys just, I don't think we know what we're doing with them.
Yeah, they had no trajectory. It was fun. It had potential, but
it did. It was great, especially with Wyatt and Hardy's back and forth promos when they were messing with the videos. It was great. A lot of potential there. But Vince and whoever put their hands in the mix with what Hardy and Wyatt could have created together. Just let the fucking minds work, man. And then he went away for a long time. We didn't see him. We're like, wow, does he even wrestle anymore? And then the night after WrestleMania 35, we get our very first Firefly Funhouse package. It is Pee-wee's Playhouse on crack for wrestling. And we get the Yowie Wowie. We get the red sweater Mr. Rogers lookalike guy, and he's trying to be a better guy. And oh my god, we were like, okay, this is fucking fantastic. You just brought me back to fucking childhood watching a stupid kids thing, and this is amazing. That's how good you are. But then it's the whole, but you gotta let me in. You gotta let him in. And we get the Fiend, finally. And the first time he showed up was that SummerSlam in 2019 against Finn Balor. And we didn't even know what to think. The lantern, that was the mouth, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
oh my
crazy.
god, it was just... And again, here's like, okay, finally you got it. You can't fuck it up. And then they did the DQ at Hell in a Cell.
Yep. The red lighting.
They made it right in Saudi Arabia like a month later and finally gave him the championship, which was great. But then they fucked him over in another Saudi Arabia event and put the title on Goldberg before they headed into WrestleMania 36.
Yep.
Which is a blessing and a curse, okay? Maybe Fiend and Goldberg could have had a rematch or something. Or maybe he had the championship at WrestleMania 36 during the pandemic. Maybe something could have worked out. However, what we were given next was probably his greatest moment, accomplishment, however you want to call it. And I'm talking about WrestleMania 36, the Firefly Funhouse match.
This is such good shit.
Oh my! No pun intended, because that's where the sound comes from of Vince McMahon. This is such good shit that we use for Nightwing. That's exactly where it came from. Was the Vince McMahon little puppet saying it, looking like he's jerking off at the announcer's table. By the way, I mean everything from the Saturday night's main event to the NWO to the ruthless aggression. It was the revenge to WrestleMania 30, if you will.
Pretty much.
In such a cool way.
Yep.
It was a mind fuck. And Cena loses, and we didn't see Cena for a couple of years, which is even kind of cool.
He really disappeared, and the best part was they showed Titus O'Neil afterwards, and he's like, I don't know what to think of that.
Like, it was almost like that should have just been a part of the match. Like, they just panned over and saw him there instead of going back, because it was so good. Again, all right, well, maybe it's going to get a little bit better because we have the pandemic. You're letting them do some cool stuff here. But we end up bringing in Alexa Bliss, which was great, which I liked. It was a good addition to him. Got a crazy guy, crazy girl. The feud with Orton just went way too far. We end up having the Burned Fiend, which looked like...
Crispy Fiend and Alexa Bliss's black face ink thing squirting,
Alexa Bliss riding Orton to pin him in that one match.
Right, that reminds me.
Yeah, lucky guy. But also, where she turns on him at WrestleMania 37. She's like, yep, that's enough. I'm just going to bleed oil out of my head and we'll just call it a day. And then we didn't see Bray Wyatt until that was April of 2021. And we didn't see Bray Wyatt again until October 2022. And that's where Extreme Rules, after Seth Rollins and Riddle had their fight pit match, lights go out. We get you got Sister Abigail, you got that husky pig, you got everybody all over the arena. The place is losing their fucking shit, and all you had to do is just, I'm here. And a new era was born, man. And it's funny because there was like, wow, we're like, what's the halt? What the fuck is going on? Why are we not hearing anything or seeing much from him pre-Royal Rumble and even post-Royal Rumble? Maybe he was battling all this shit throughout the whole time, and then it caught up right after Royal Rumble, because I think the Rumble was one of the last times you saw him. But right before that, hate to bring this one up, man, but this one will get you. The week before was Raw 30. And that's where The Undertaker had the choke on LA Knight, pushed him over for the Sister Abigail, whispered something in Bray's ear.
I love it.
And Bray actually said in a fucking interview, that's between me and Undertaker.
Yep.
I'll never tell, and I'm bringing it to the grave. Well, I need Undertaker to tell us what the fuck he said to him then, because, oh my God.
Oh, nah, man.
You know what I mean? I feel like he probably was like, you're way too good for this fucking place. You know,
right.
And it's funny because on the drive home, when I was telling my wife all about this on the camping trip, I'm like, I got to, get myself prepped for this show and do all this. I had her listen to that, I burned my daddy to the goddamn sea and all that stuff, and then I read the good book and all that shit, and she's like, he should have did horror movies. And I go, yup. We all said it. I'm like, as soon as the Fiend character came out, we're like, oh my God, what? Get out of wrestling. Just get out of wrestling. You're going to have such a better life in movies. Oh, God. And, two-time WWE champion. He's a tag team champion with the Wyatt family, but also with Matt Hardy. I hate to say the words that are so cliche, but fucking way too soon, man. We've gone way too soon.
Way too fucking
and
soon.
I think that a healthy Bray Wyatt, Jesus Christ, with the right creative minds, the sky would have been the limit with this dude.
Yep, 100%. So at one point recently, he tagged with Roman Reigns. I think they took on the Bar, perhaps. And,
oh my God, that's right.
So, and I don't know if you remember this. So, Bray hits the Sister Abigail on, I was going to say Claudio, on Cesaro.
Now, good for
you.
you.
He pins him, and he sees Sheamus coming back into the ring, and he does finger guns at Sheamus, and as soon as he does like the trigger where his thumb goes down, Roman spears Sheamus. Like, he wasn't even looking at Roman. Roman was behind him, and he fucking nailed it. He just goes boom, boom, and right then he hit the spear. It was fucking dope. He had those little things.
Psychology for wrestling with this guy was unbelievable.
Yep, 100%. That's it.
He was in the wrong era.
Yep.
I actually wrote that down. This dude was in the wrong era, unfortunately. Son of Erwin R. Shyster, brother to Bo Dallas. This is
nephew of Barry Windham.
And I was going to say the Wyndhams. This one, like I said, pisses me off. It beats me up. I plan to watch some Wyatt matches now that I'm back home and able to. Some top 10, much like how I kind of went through with Funk. Here's some matches. I already mentioned, The Chamber, 2014. Yes, Elimination Chamber 2014. The 6-man match between the Shield and the Wyatt family. Just, especially for me, that's some young prime, not real young, but, some prime Dean Ambrose where he's like, motherfucker, I'm just going to go get in a fight. And you're like, yeah, I like the Psycho guy. And now you're like, I've seen this every week. You're going to shrug your shoulders. Anyway, but it's a great match. Firefly. I mean, come on, the Firefly Funhouse. It was just a fantastic match at WrestleMania 36. How it didn't close. I mean, they closed the Boneyard match the night before. This one, the match after this was Drew and Brock, and while I get it, I'm like, oh my God, Drew and Brock sucked after that, because I was like, this Firefly Funhouse.
I agree with you. You got to figure most people, if it ended on the Firefly Funhouse, they would have like, what the shit?
Yeah, I would have been. Go off the pay-per-view like that, but like, I got to watch Raw tomorrow, man. He just killed him. Another great match. Him and Finn Balor. It's a squash at SummerSlam 2019. But shit, how often do you get a good squash match?
Yeah, you don't.
Well, actually, there is that one that Orton did to Rusev that one time, like in 2 seconds at that same SummerSlam, I think. But also, him versus Taker at WrestleMania, just at least to see both of them lock up. It can't go wrong with it. 2015 WrestleMania 31, and then even the year before, him versus Cena. Again, he still puts on a great show. Win, lose, or draw, puts on a great show while he's in there. Him and Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble 2014. Him and Roman, their entire feud in the 2015 era. They had multiple matches, multiple pay-per-view matches. Again, the anybody but you, Roman. Just fantastic. Or maybe in 14, my apologies. Him and Cena in a cage match, one of my favorites. That's the one where the little boy shows up and Cena like shits his pants. He's like, he's got the whole world. The little boy had like the devil voice. And he had some great matches, both with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, respectively. One of my favorite ones is where he's in a match with Dean, and Dean's carrying like a monitor or something where he's going to hit Bray, and then the monitor just explodes in his face because Bray made it happen. I'm like, as hokey as it is, I like a good just character, phenomenon. Yeah, dude, it was the next best thing to Taker that we didn't get to have.
Pretty much. It really could have been the next generation.
Yeah, and I can't say enough good things about Bray Wyatt, and it's unfortunate that he passed away. But obviously, we'll definitely watch a lot of his matches. I'm sure in the future, you and I may even put one on, do a little watch along at some point. Maybe we should do the Firefly Funhouse for
that's a fun one.
No pun intended. Yeah. I like it. We'll have to do that. Well, it has been an extremely long show, but sometimes that's what we do. But hey, next week when we're back, it is so fitting. We didn't even fucking plan. I mean, they've been doing enough as it is, AEW, on their own, but we were already planning on having a top topic coming up soon of, the perception of what it's like backstage versus what we're all understanding and seeing out here and how good it is for their business. And then fucking, All In, we have another fight. Good. I hope we have another one at All Out. I hope he just storms into the media scrum and just starts punching people in the face at this point. I don't even know. But hey, we're the Top of Wrestling Podcast. You know what I really got to say, honestly? I know you're straight edge. Smoke some weed. Drink. Do something, man. Calm the fuck down.
Come on, Phil. Take an edible.
Picking fights with kids. I know you work with fucking children, but I mean, even teacher aides get fired for beating up on the kids.
Need to get high, too.
We are the Top of Wrestling Podcast. I am the Professor. I bid you a farewell. He is O.D.M. Every week, he likes to leave you with a certain amount of words. Can you guess what number it is?
Generic rock on the cock. The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and O.D.M. the Doc Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
First of all, I think it's, I don't even know if we'll use it as a hidden track, but fantastic that your mic wasn't plugged in because you had to charge the pen. Good for you.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, priorities, right? I don't even know if it charged all the way, but that's why I had to smoke some flour and eat an edible just to be sure.
Oh, you did one of those today, eh?
Yeah.
Do you have 500 milligram?
No, I don't. Gorilla Biscuit Tikis? No, I don't have any of those.
Gorilla Biscuit.